Yeah, hey, hey, yeah. Shout to day 43, yo, that's the OG. HEX, crypto, big payday, you gon' see. Yo, it's November 19, that's the day they predict. Every time I spit, I bring the craziest shit. Shout to day 43, yo, that's the OG. HEX, crypto, big payday, you gon' see. Yo, it's November 19, that's the day they predict. Every time I spit, I bring the craziest shit. Yeah.
Man, thank goodness.
I think it's harder to justify what the hell we're doing here, man.
He's phony, she's fake. That's the type of people I hate.
Yo, y'all know the lyrics. Come on, sing with me.
Player, why some choose to play it safe? Watch, check the resume, is risky business in the
Welcome to the HEX Late Show. It's 43 OG here with you in Australia on a Tuesday night. I've got HEX Tangent. I've got Jexa. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
Yo.
And shout out to everyone in the chat. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Tangent, you saw the rapper at the start, right?
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name, but he's famous as fuck. Like one of my faves.
How did you get that done?
That's old school, right? So that was actually before he was like famous. When I say before he was famous, he had he only had a couple of 100,000, maybe 200,000 or 300,000 followers at that stage. And that was before Big Payday. So he does this thing where he'll just stream and just rap for hours. Yeah. He would 2 or 3 hours. He'll just stream and just rap flow of consciousness. And you can just go into his chat and type shit and he'll just rap about what you type. So I just jumped in there. This was before Big Payday. So we're talking pre-November 2020. And I went in there and I just typed a message about, Big Payday, and it was at November 19th and he just rapped about it. So that was cool. It's old school though. That's an old clip, really old. And since then, the guy's completely blown up.
Do you remember his name? Or?
Yeah, it's Harry Mack.
That's
Harry Mack. Yeah. If you go check out Harry Mack, right? He's got
ones where he walks down the street and just starts rapping about literally everything he sees. I guess it's proof of freestyle that it can't be scripted because it's literally things that are coming up that you could not have predicted, like what someone's wearing or the items in a shop and shit. He's legendary.
Yeah. So yeah, he's I don't know if there's any. I know there's a lot of talented freestyle rappers out there, but I don't know that anyone's been able to put it together in the same way that he has. he will do that thing where he'll walk down the street. He also does this thing called Omegle bars, where he'll be on Omegle. You know Omegle? It's like chat roulette type thing, where you'll just click a button and it'll show you like a different person, random person on chat, who could be like jerking off, or could be a legit person. Like, you never know. I guess I've never done it, but I guess you never know. And he does that, and he just raps to just randoms and tells them, give me like 3 words, and he'll just like put together like bars, bar after bar after bar, and just rap about it. So that's,
is he the dude you send in like super chats or something, and as the people are sending in super chats, he keeps building on his,
it doesn't have to be even a super chat. Like, you can just jump on there, and if no one's done a super chat, and you just happen to type something in the chat, he'll rap about it. Like, he's not like doing it for the money. It's just people give him money, and he's going to do it regardless. So people, if no one was giving him super chats, he would still rap for 2 hours, and he'd still rap about the shit that you type in the chat. So the guy is like, he's awesome. Like, he's a great rapper.
The name that I kept thinking of when I was trying to remember who it was Marlon Craft, because I discovered them around the same time. But so Harry Mack, legendary.
I've never heard of that guy. Is he a freestyle rapper as well?
Yeah.
Cool. What Marlon Craft?
Marlon, Marlon.
Cool. I'll check it out.
He's good. He's really good. He's got a YouTube channel and stuff.
So before we came on stream, we were starting to get into because I flew back from Europe over the weekend with the family, which was, I have to say, that was not fun. That was fucking not fun at all.
Was that like
is, man.
17, 18 hour flight?
No.
Even in business class, flying still sucks, man.
No, dude. Flying with adults as opposed to flying with 3 kids under 7, don't even like compare the shit. Like, there is no comparison. Like, it was hellish. And I kept saying to my wife, this is the last time. Because it's the last time we ever have to do this.
I guess what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is, if you ignore the relative scale, I would still rather teleport than fly, no matter what option you gave me. Even you said, dude, it's going to be like a private jet and you can rock up whenever you want and shit like that. It's still a pain in the ass. Maybe if it was a party on the jet with like super hot girls, then I would maybe pick that shit over teleporting. But short of that, I would just be like, nah, dude, it's just traveling. Just traveling sucks because it restricts your shit, right? Like,
it's a pity teleporting is just too expensive at the moment. Otherwise, I'd do it. Hey, we need the HEX price to go up.
We need the HEX price to go up a little bit.
No, dude, let me tell you, we got to the airport. Like, this is before we took 2 flights to get back. So it was as good as it. As far as flights go and time goes, time-wise, we got it as good as you can get it. Like, we got back quick. But it was just so bad from the minute we stepped into the airport. My daughter was like not feeling 100%, and like the youngest, and she was just a pain in everyone's ass the whole time. And like, it's hard when you're like, you're like, she's like being a massive pain in the ass, but you feel so sorry for her because she's like she doesn't understand, doesn't know. You can't say, hey, in 5 minutes we're doing this, or in 10 minutes. It's just like she doesn't have the concept of time. So it was just like really hard for her. And look, I'm glad we never have to do that shit again, ever. Next time, I said to my wife, next time when the kids are a bit older, whenever it is, we'll get like a business class seat, and then you and me can just like swap out of that and just do shifts with the kids. The kids can just sit and I am never ever buying the kids like anything above economy. They can fucking sit their asses in economy until they're
tiny as well. They, like, one of the best things about business class is the additional space, and kids don't need it.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
actually, the kids would be happy anyway, mate. If you weren't there and they had the run of the joint, they'd be absolutely stoked.
True that. Yeah.
So good to be back, is it, mate?
Good to be back, and that's what we were talking about. Coming back through Australian customs, and we know someone who went through Australian customs not too long ago, and they did not have a great experience coming back through Australian customs. They were like, hassled. Harassed. They were, in their words, they were harassed, and they had to like give their phone over, give their devices over, and they would the customs officials were going through all their devices and going through their photos and asking questions about who is this, and just making them feel not very welcome, right? So we didn't have any of that issue. I only had one concern that I thought they might, I didn't know whether they would or not, but I just thought they could kick up a fuss about me bringing back. I had like a little mini computer, which was gifted to me while I was over there, and I brought that back, and it was worth over the $900 total that they allow you to bring in, like, of gifts. So I declared it, and then. And they sent me into the line where they go to, there's a line to go where they go check all your bags. There's one line where they just say, oh, you're good to go, and you just go out. And then there's the other line where they go, oh yeah, go over there. We're going to go through all your shit, open up all your shit and go through it. They sent us down that line, and I'm just thinking, far out. Like this is not what I really feel like doing after a 24-hour, hell trip with the kids. But we went through that section, and then they just asked me a couple of questions, and they didn't even look through our bags or anything. And there was nothing. I mean,
hang on. What's this thing about you got to declare if it's over $900 or something? What's that all about?
Well, on the, when you arrive into Australia from an international flight, they give you those yellow cards that you need to fill out, and you need to. One of the questions is, do you have any items that you've purchased overseas that are a value of $900 or more, gifts or otherwise.
How would they even know that you purchased it overseas? That's the stupid thing about it.
You should have just gone like plausible deniability. Someone gave me a gift. I don't know how much. I'm not expected to know how much it's worth, and it's now secondhand. Now that it belongs, so you could have easily just gone, nah, this little computer
I wouldn't have even
declared that. Like, how much could you sell it for on Marketplace? Like, I would have just skipped that shit. But that's good of you to follow the rules properly and shit.
Yeah, dude, I generally follow the rules. Like, when it comes to important shit, like
stuff that they can fuck you up for if you get caught out. Yeah,
the important stuff like taxes. All the important shit, dude. Like being above, like I do all that shit the way it's supposed to be. I don't want any trouble.
Also, it's a bit like anyone. It's a bit like shoplifting as a kid. You buy something as cover up. So by declaring that, all the guns and drugs that you actually had within your suitcases, they're going to be like, oh, this guy's like over declaring. He's like declaring this little computer thing. Just let him through. I'm just joking. But for the record, I'm joking.
You put all that shit in the nappy bags, man.
We brought back so many, and when I say drugs, like prescription, legal, we brought so much shit back. I think we had like half a suitcase just full of. I don't know why either. I don't even know why.
You have to be careful with that shit though, because you can end up with drugs that are legal where you started from, and then you travel into a place. Like an example of that is in Australia, someone that's prescribed Dexies, like dexamphetamine, which I guess is like the Australian equivalent of, I think in States it's Ritalin, or in States it's they've got a name for it, Adderall. It's like the Australian Adderall. And if you fly into fucking like Singapore or some place, I might be getting the places wrong, but you get busted for having amphetamines. They don't give a shit that it's like in Australia, it's like your legal script medication. It's an amphetamine and your ass is going to jail or like death penalty or some shit. So you've got to be actually quite careful.
And I think in Bali that you buy that over the counter. So I'm not sure how that works on the way coming back, if you can have that bringing it.
Yeah, there's examples the other way around as well. Like I had some, someone asked me to get them these like muscle relaxant pills or some shit that you can just literally walk into a pharmacy in Thailand and just buy it with no, like, you don't even need to say your symptoms. You're just like, I want that shit. That's the pills I want. And then, but then here it's not legal to be carrying that shit around.
The Mango Junkie, there's not a stream we do that the Mango Junkie doesn't throw some fucking backhanded shit at me. Like,
is it because we're not talking about crypto? Is it?
No, every fucking stream, this guy like. no. Listen, I need to clarify. I don't love any of that. I don't love any of that shit. I want like more
freedom,
like more free, less regulation. I want more free, but I also like. I understand that I live in a place that has rules. I have to follow them, and I don't want to be in jail. So fucking, that's the way it is. So we need to fight the fight, using their rules. So,
by the way, I'm actually a fan of Mango Junkie because he often retweets my shit. I'm biased though.
I'm a fan of Mango Junkie as well when he's not throwing shade. That motherfucker.
Okay, so thanks for naming the stream after me.
HEX MAXI. Yes.
Hang on, I want to circle back on something. I want to circle back on something, and it relates to, you made a comment about jerking off. Now I can't remember what that was related to specifically. But there's a tweet being going.
Hang on, I didn't. Hang on a second. I think for people joining the stream a bit later, this needs to be clarified. Dude, you just threw me under a bus there. Like
chat roulette. Now they'll know chat roulette. They'll know chat roulette.
I was simply. Anyway, no, fuck it. Just go on,
like, dude jerking off, suicide. Like that's the fucking.
So basically, there's something been going around on Twitter, and it's a picture of it's a cutout of a stream, and there's Crypto Coffee, Dollar Cost Crypto, and I can't remember who else is on the stream. And they must have been bringing randoms in from the chat, must have put the link out and just letting random people join the stream.
I remember this.
Yeah, and they flicked to a picture, but it was just a quick flash. I couldn't figure out what it was. Does anyone know what the hell that was about?
I think I do.
Did the channel get banned after that?
No, tell me if I'm wrong. But some guy was like, some guy was copping a squat on screen.
Oh,
yeah.
I was pumping money out as well.
No. Tangent's look, that was perfect. Yes, Jesus. Exactly. So can someone please confirm that is either correct or incorrect? What did you think? Did you think they were like rubbing one out?
I thought he must have been rubbing one out or something by the way they were carrying on.
No, I think someone.
You reckon it was just someone sitting on the toilet?
I didn't actually see it, but I heard about it.
Had their camera on, didn't realise?
I was around for the fallout, and the fallout like made it pretty clear that some guy was like taking the dump on screen, and I think it was Coffee's guy. Like it was a guy that Coffee had lined up. So that dude had obviously had too much coffee.
That's funny. I thought it must have been something like that. Yeah. So I can scrub jerking off my list then.
We've never had anything like that.
No. Close, but not quite. No,
we've just had good, healthy nudity courtesy of Unrex Unrex ladies.
Exploits.
Yep. His ladies of the night. You remember that stream when we were just streaming, and then in the background, I don't know, like if she just came out of the bathroom or what, she just like walked out. Just walked out of the bathroom topless, and it was just like we were all talking, and I think Unrect was the only one who didn't realize we were all just like instantly got distracted by what was going on in like 1/16 of the screen in the corner, and we're just all focusing on that. Good times. Where is Unrect?
I don't know. He's gone AWOL again. I've seen him in the chats a little bit. He's kicking around in the chats.
Hang on, CryptoClays saw it and can't unsee it. Okay. So Mango Junkie said that was the scene. Yeah, okay. All right. So that's what I thought. I'm glad I didn't see it. I don't need to see that.
Shout out chat, by the way. I'm scanning it at the moment just to see if there's any comments. It's one thing that we don't do for the sake of efficiency is like shouting out individual names. I've noticed that streamers that do that probably get more engagement because people are like, oh, yay, I got my name said. But it's just less efficient to be shouting out like individual names. You know how some streamers, they do that at the start of their stream. The first like 5 minutes is them literally just listing the names of people in their chat. So for people that want like efficient content, it's shit. Unless they timestamp it and it's like crowd engagement or whatever, and you can just skip straight past that shit. I've noticed there's some people do that shit. Oh, by the way, ChatGPT does timestamps now. So you can give it a video and say, I want you to timestamp this video, and it'll give you it works. It must like work out what yep.
That is pretty good.
It's good.
So it just picks up on the theme of a conversation.
I have no idea how it does it. Although, I mean, I guess actually I do. It's the same way it's so elite at other shit is that it kind of doesn't understand, but it can get
it's good and it's not good. Come on, let's be honest. With people like us streaming, with the shit that we say that we think goes under the radar. Yeah.
It'd be timestamps every 5 seconds.
It's like nothing will go under the radar anymore. Everything's going to get sorted through and tagged.
That's a pretty handy tool because that's a batshit boring job to go and timestamp stuff.
Yep.
We should try it on this stream and just see how efficient it is, how good it picks it up.
Be all over the place. Just getting back to that scene that you were talking about, Jexa. We were actually just reminded me of we were talking about outrage marketing for Richard Hart a couple of streams ago, and we were talking about 2 girls, 1 heart as being a that could be like some outrage marketing, and it just reminded me of that.
So I forgot about that idea of ours. That was such a quality idea for everyone to start coming up with stuff that's actually outrageous.
Yeah. Well, it's still an ongoing idea. It's
all
not.
Right, I'm going to tweet it.
So have any of you guys shilled any dodgy projects in the last week?
No.
I've
done the opposite.
Excellent. You know, that tweet that Richard had where I think it's from a while back, how he's talking about things that go down 90% or 95%. But you know, have you shilled things that I don't agree with that being an issue, just simply because there are too many things that I deem to be good overall, like generally good in crypto that have gone down 95% before. For me, that doesn't automatically turn it into a scam or something that makes you a bad person because you've talked about it.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that aren't scams, but they just won't have longevity in the chart. So that's, I possibly think that's more what the lens he's looking through, I guess, is, are things going to continue to be around? Is their market fit? And yeah, is it just going to be a black hole where some early people do well out of it and the rest of the charts just down and keeps heading that way and never gets back up? So I think less about scams and more just about money pits. And I think it's
your audio, bro. Your audio's a bit. Is it just me, or is your audio a bit wrecked?
No, it's bad for me. It's bad for me as well. It's
really low or choppy, is it?
No, it's crackling.
It's crackling. Yeah.
Oh, really? That's unusual.
I just read it in the chat. That's why I thought it was just me. But
I also assumed it was my internet. I assumed my internet might be running slowly and chopping.
Is that better? I've just tweaked all the little cables. I don't know if that's any better.
No, same.
All right, I might just change.
Chop suey. Spenny said chop suey.
Okay, I'm just going to change my VPN. I'll be back.
Ash. Look at Ash's comment.
Louis traveling.
Bluey basically.
Oh yeah, where is he at? It's because of the time zone. Hey, it's hard for him to be away.
It's all time zone related for him.
I would just stay up. I love the excuse of staying up all night. So when I stream with Americans and it's like the next morning early, then I'm just like, fuck it, I just want to sleep. And then I can spend the whole night doing crypto. I stay up.
Doing crypto.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
What do you do? Like when you're doing crypto, do you just do crypto shit? What do you do? Do you just read all your words?
Shit, what am I doing? When I'm doing crypto, bro, I'm saving the world. I guess I'm spending a lot of time shit posting on Twitter. I'm catching up on videos from people that I respect within the industry. I guess I'm checking on my LPs, checking price charts, checking the news, that crypto panic site. I go through all the news that I've missed. I'm like looking at lately, because of all the increased chatter about PulseChain coming out, I've been actively working towards consolidating my economic energy back to the Ethereum chain and back into HEX. And that can be quite time consuming when your shit has been scattered over years of like experimenting with different chains and different protocols and trying to experience and learn and test all the different DeFi that's out there. Your shit can get quite dispersed, and bringing it all back, but while also being careful not to contaminate my address sanitation is very important to me. So I have to be very careful when I'm like, it's not just as simple as being like, okay, go on this chain, this address, sell everything into their native asset, bridge it back to Ethereum and buy HEX. I need to be careful that I'm not connecting wallets that were not previously connected. Going back and working out what the purpose I had for why I was on that chain. So some wallets like ones that I participated in PulseChain sacrifices and shit. I'm not looking to mess that up. Like, so it can get quite time consuming. So yeah, but my friends asked me this question as well. They're like, how do you spend so many hours like doing crypto? Don't you just like buy the shit and wait for it to go up? And I'm like, it's not really that simple.
I think it's gotten a lot more. Firstly, is my audio a bit better now?
Still bad.
Still bad. Yeah.
By the way, Jexa, actually, your recommendation of the Rabby wallet, bro, it is so good.
Yeah,
it is so good. I'm pissed at myself for not, because normally I consider myself to be like tech savvy and tech enthusiast, where I want to be one of the first people to try new shit out. You guys might have noticed I'm always tweeting about like new swapping protocols, DEX, metadexes, DEX aggregators and shit like that. I was one of the first people, if not the first, to mention CowSwap and various other things that are interesting. So the fact that I didn't jump straight onto Rabby, particularly when you were recommending, I don't know why, and now I'm just kicking myself. I persisted with MetaMask, and yeah,
Well,
it's
all
great.
they need is the custom network feature, and
Yes,
I'll be happy. I tried Block Wallet, and it's okay, but man, the amount of clicks you've got to do to swap addresses and things like that is just not fun to use.
I'll tell you something that I like about Rabby that I did not expect. There's a fucking button that lets you just click and it links straight to DBank.
Yeah.
So you literally, you can be, so in MetaMask, I was having to use the copy wallet function, then go to a web browser, go to the website, put the address in, search it. This one, it's literally a single click. And that might not sound that crazy, but the amount of time / annoyance that one little thing has saved me. Because if you're cruising around quickly and then you're like, shit, what assets do I have linked to this wallet? Particularly with this task that I was just talking about, where I'm trying to like consolidate that economic energy, that thing is absolutely killer.
Yeah, sorry, man, I'm just trying to get my mic and stuff working a bit better. It's a game changer in terms of the way you can actually put it. You can monitor wallet, so you can fire it up without having to put a seed word in, which all the others you have to put seed words in and all this kind of shit. So you can put it straight into watch mode. Heaps of cool things. They've nailed the UI on it. So.
Also, that it doesn't have that annoying shit where it forces you to create non-hardware wallets. Like, you know how like with MetaMask, it forces you to actually go in and have it create wallets, and then you can connect your hardware wallet, and then it adds that to it.
Yep.
And some people might say, well, that's not really that bad. Just do it, like, and have those wallets there. But for me, it's like, one day I'm going to come back and be like, is there crypto in this thing? Like what was, you know what I mean? Like, it's just unnecessary shit. And they've been thoughtful and considerate in their construction of that wallet. And just those little, like, heaps of little things like that just make it so good.
Sorry guys, I'm going to bail again.
And they claim that they are privacy conscious. That on the website, they claim that they do. So obviously there's a difference between claims and actually what goes on, but at least they're promoting that they are a privacy preserving solution. So that's another one. Shit, there's like too much to list as to why it's better than MetaMask. Oh, people are saying your audio is better now. Too late. He gone. Day 43. You still there?
Yeah. Yep. I'm here, bro.
All right.
I was just listening to you guys talking about Rabby. Yeah, you're back.
Any better?
Have you got different mics, Jexo? Can you try a different mic? Like even your webcam might have an inbuilt mic you can switch to just to test to see if that's the issue.
So I used I played around with Rabby. Rabby's support for Linux is very average, so I haven't had as much experience with it. I've played around. It seems pretty slick. I like it. I agree with you. It needs the custom RPC, but you can just change the Ethereum one. You can change the Ethereum one.
I haven't tested that hack that I suggested last week, by the way, the like grabbing the Ethereum one and changing it to Ethereum proof of work. I haven't tested that hack, but I will soon. Also,
you can change the RPC. You can change the RPC in Rabby to a different one than whatever.
I know you can change it, but like it might break it if you. So say you grab the Ethereum one and you're like, okay, I want to change to a custom RPC, and then you change it to a completely different chain. Number, that might actually break the way that it's. Like, I'm unsure if it's like, if there's something inherent to that particular one that you're changing that it has to stay on that chain. Probably not. Like, as in, especially if it's letting you change the chain ID. then you could maybe even just like tell the Ethereum one, point it towards like a completely different chain that's not even an Ethereum fork, and maybe that would work. But all I'm saying is I just haven't tested it yet, and I want to. Do you guys know if, the wallet that KG created, do you guys know if that's actually active on any non-testnet, like actually on any main nets? Because I wouldn't mind testing that, seeing as they claim that's going to be the only wallet that's going to natively support PulseChain straight off the bat. So that's an interesting value proposition. And it sounds to me that they're putting a lot of time and effort into that to make it a good wallet. The only thing I don't like about it is the fact that it's got tokens. It's got 3 tokens associated with it, which I think is like hyper excessive. Rabby doesn't have a token, does it?
No.
Actually, neither does MetaMask.
Not yet. No, there's still a lot of speculation.
They make money. Yeah, there's speculation on the MetaMask token.
Yep.
I think Block Wallet does, off the top of my head. I think it's got a token. But I don't know what it's for. The thing that Block Wallet was good, it had like an inbuilt mixing thing, like that was connected to Tornado, but then they deprecated it after all that Tornado shit stuff went down.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit out of touch with what KG's been up to. Is it going to be like a MetaMask extension type?
Your audio's fixed, by the way.
Cool.
Yeah, it's called Internet Money Wallet.
Yeah, I've seen it going around, but I haven't had a look. I don't even know if it's live and you can use it or...
Yeah, I haven't checked whether it's on any main nets. I know it's definitely obviously on test nets.
Do you know what a lot of wallets don't do that they probably all should do?
What's that?
It's offline signing.
Oh, okay.
Like, why do I have to have all my shit connected up so that I can broadcast to the network? Like, why do I have to do it that way?
So you mean like QR codes or something like that?
I don't know how they would work it, but why does it have to be that I'm like for certain transactions that, like for DEXs and stuff, that shit is probably not going to work because it's too complex. You're like there are liquidity pools. There's too much shit going on, but there are basic transactions or contract calls that you do that it doesn't matter when you do them. It's not a time. It's just a matter of like having the right GUI and just doing the contract call. So why can't we?
I know that this comment I'm about to make is not strictly correct, but that's kind of what a hardware wallet is. Like the hardware wallet is kind of technically, if you look at it as a separate computer, it is offline. So,
but that's not, yes, but however. So
if you're using a hardware wallet, you're achieving that anyway.
Yeah, but not really achieving the point of why I'm talking about it.
Oh, okay.
Because
you've got a specific. So I'll answer the question. Then. It's probably because the use case that you're talking about is so rare. There's not enough demand for it. That they are prioritizing that as a feature.
Yeah, privacy is not really like put up there very much. Because
well, unfortunately, that's true. But as in, do people even realize? Like, as in,
no one realizes.
You need people you would need people to realize that what you're talking about is actually related to privacy, and then you would need people to give a shit about privacy. So it's like a 2-step thing that there's probably virtually 0 people asking them for that feature.
That may be the case. However, given that we're talking about crypto and privacy is like some basic tenet of what we're talking about here, like when it comes to decentralized things, I would have thought like all of the old school Bitcoin stuff allows you to do it. Like that was like an old school Bitcoin thing that you can do offline shit.
Yeah, but you think about what you actually do with Bitcoin as opposed to what you do in the DeFi world.
Yeah. So as I said, it would need to only be for basic shit because you can't do it. You need to be live when it's like a DEX or something like that. But if it's a basic contract call, like, and it's just doing something that's it's doing something that's basic that just needs a certain amount of GUI to, do the call, then I don't see why. I just think that it would be good for a good option for people who are privacy focused, and then you don't have to have all your shit, because there are so many other points where you can be fingerprinted when you're connecting up through a browser extension. It's just, I just think that it would.
Can you just hack it? Like, as in, get a separate computer and get a different wallet that's not because these are designed to be browser wallets. So there's an assumption there that you're online, because typically people don't use web browsers if you're not connected to the internet. So you could download a non-browser wallet that does allow offline signing.
There's nothing out there.
Create the transaction, then take it over to another computer.
That's my point.
There's no wallets that allow Ethereum, like EVM compatible offline.
That I'm aware of. Not like GUI based wallets. I'm sure there's some CLI wallets, but
what about that one that everyone used to use but now no one uses in the Ethereum space? What the fuck was it called?
My crypto wallet.
Jax or something like that. There was Jax.
Mew. My Ether wallet.
Mew, yeah.
No, because that was online as well. I'm talking about the one that actually used to try and download the blockchain onto your computer, like when you would. Exodus. Was it Exodus?
Yeah. I don't think that was ever. I don't know that they ever tried to download the whole lot, but it was a standalone app. That's for sure.
So 43. I would look at something like that, which was like designed to be like a desktop wallet. I would say you could almost certainly construct transactions and sign them and shit without it being connected to the net. So Exodus still exists. Best, they claim to be the best desktop wallet for shit. Oh, it does Bitcoin as well. Multi-chain Web3 wallet.
Hang on a second. Is that a crypto product that is claiming to be the best?
No. Best desktop wallet, like best.
Yeah, no. But I'm just saying, like, a crypto product claiming to be the best is at what they do is like every single fucking crypto product that exists.
Their tagline is best crypto wallet for desktop and mobile.
I would give them that kudos too. They're pretty slick. Like, their wallet has always been,
and they were one of the first as well. They've been around for one of the longest.
And you can still like use hardware wallets with that.
They've actually changed course. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. I know.
Yeah, it looks like they have become more web compatible. You're right, Jaxa. Yeah. It used to be desktop, but now it is like Web3 browser integrated.
Yeah.
So it's like all.
Yeah, they've sort of gone.
This actually looks quite slick.
Yeah, it is good. They used to be tightly integrated with Trezor. I'm not sure if they've gone further with Ledger.
Yeah, shit. This is actually pretty tight. Like, it's been years since I've looked at this thing, so it's good to see that they've really improved their shit.
Yeah,
you know,
that used to be the go-to wallet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when I was helping people come into the space and they needed a friendly interface to use their Trezor, that was the wallet we paired them up with, because Trezor themselves didn't have Trezor Suite, like that didn't exist, and it wasn't.
That's right. It was web only, wasn't it? Until
and it was a pile of shit. Like it was a real pile of crap. So yeah, that was. That them bringing out Trezor Suite sort of negated needing Exodus, but I reckon, it was always a cracking wallet, even if it was a standalone wallet. It was really good. Someone's just put in about Aurochs. I know Randy shills the hell out of Aurochs. I reckon at the moment I think it's crap, to be honest. And
that was the competitor for TradingView, wasn't it?
No, they've got a Web3 wallet.
Oh, sorry, a wet wallet.
Yeah,
I think there's something that sounds similar to that was like a
yes, part of the same thing.
Part of the same group. Okay.
That's part of my issue with this is how tightly integrated. Like, there's a real blurred line between what's the centralized part of the wallet and what's the self-custody side of things. And there's sure as shit, you are giving up a lot of information just the way it's blended together. That was just one thing I noticed, but there was a raft of other things as well, which for me, I just I took it off my list of things of interest at this point in time. Maybe it'll get better, but definitely not the go-to wallet I would use. Now, if you want to do trading and things like that on their DEX or their interface, then maybe that's the wallet you want to use. But as a standalone security solution, I didn't rate it. But each to their own.
I just opened up the Aurochs website after not using it for a really, really, really long time, and it remembered that I was on HEX BTC pair. And where, according to this, which I don't know where it's getting its data source from, but we're exactly at 100 Satoshis, according to this site. So it's quite interesting because remember 100 Satoshis used to be, remember that meme with the dude that's like getting more and more jacked and he's like flexing different ways and shit, like, and it's like 100 sats, I think, was like the one at the end where the judge like falls off his chair. Yeah. So, and now it's like the fucking like Pico bottom, like the Giga bottom, like.
In answer to your question, Tangent, what do you do all day for crypto? I've literally, since all the things that are launching on Pulse have come out and all the different airdrops and things like that have happened, I've had to create a spreadsheet that basically lists all the shit that's going on.
I need to do that.
And then you're going across 3 chains now. So yeah, I've got to.
Absolutely. I also need to like make a spreadsheet for like what wallet I've sacked to different shit, for things that I've sacrificed for and stuff like that. Even though it's not that crazy, because I didn't really do many outside of the the specific RH ones. It's still like, I don't want to, in 3 years' time be like, oh, there's like 50 grand here that I forgot about. Like, you know what I mean? I want to keep track of that shit.
Yeah, look, I'm sure that's going to happen because there has been...
It's absolutely going to happen.
There's been a truckload of airdrops. Some I've claimed for, some I've probably got, don't even know. It's just hard to keep on top of it all at the moment. It is turning into a full-time job just to keep a track of everything. And it's going to get harder, and more of that will happen.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse.
Once you add PulseChain.
This is the argument. This is the argument. You are making the argument, Jexa, for HEX MAXI. Why being a HEX MAXI is an optimal thing in crypto. You're making the argument right now.
Mate, if someone's going to throw free money at me, I'm not going to turn it down.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
keep doing it. People don't care.
We were talking about being a click monkey last week, and I don't know, man. I certainly didn't sign
click
up.
Monkey. I fucking laugh at that comment.
You say that now, but who knows? You never know what's going to happen, and some of those projects may just turn into belters, and
you're right.
We'll go back and get it.
Yo, 43. Can you share my screen for 1 second? I hope this doesn't have any identifying information on it. No, it doesn't. So check this out, right? Like, can you guys see this? That I've drawn a blue line in here. So this is HEX against Bitcoin. See this blue line? Just trust me that I've made it from a peak over here back in. So on the 26th of October, 2020, we had a peak of HEX's price against Bitcoin, ignoring this massive wick. And we're literally sitting on that support right now.
When was that?
Where we broke through. I'm going to try and zoom in so you guys can actually see this a bit better.
What was the date of that first peak?
October, the 26th of October, 2020.
So just before big payday. Okay.
So look at this. Yeah. So look at this, right? See here, this peak, then we broke through it, retested it. You guys might not be able to see that, but I promise you, there's a wick there where it came back down, tested the line, and then we came up, and then now we're literally at that level of that was 88 sats. So HEX has basically gone on a rocket journey. Fuck off. Okay, I'm gonna turn my screen off because that was the whole point. But yeah, crazy, hey? Like, so no, obviously, because no one looks at the HEX Bitcoin pair, really. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the only time that anyone has discussed it or shown it or anything on any of the HEX channels.
Where are you actually getting
no
that
one seems to give a shit
from?
about. This is on Aurochs.
Oh, is it? Okay, right.
Yeah. So interesting that this is, there's so many things that make me bullish on HEX. So many bottom signals that I've seen for the broader crypto market and HEX itself. Too many to go into right now. But this is another one that I didn't even know about, that we've actually come back and found support on an old resistance level that is historically significant. This is a level that's been around for over 2 years. Over 2 years. And just to give you guys some idea, if I can get this thing to fuck off. Fuck. I was just going to give you the date where it punched through and where we actually went rocket shipping away from it. And I think that chart was on the weekly, by the way. So that's like high time frame shit. And so the breakout occurred 10th of May 2021. So this is not short time frame shit. This particular support resistance level has been in play for a really, really, really long time.
When was wasn't that the COVID dip was 18th to 20th or something of? Oh no, it might have been March, was it? Maybe that was March, 20 March.
Yeah, interesting comments actually from both of you about like the proximity to big payday and the like the COVID crashing and shit like that. Yeah.
So while we're doing charts, so last week we looked at the BTC USD chart on the 3-day, and I said there was that trend line we're watching. I'll quickly bring it up just so people might as well keep people in.
While you're bringing that up, I'll just make one last comment about this chart that I was just looking at. The absolute pico top, ignoring wicks, was just under 1,000 sats. So when you think about it like that, so people say that HEX is down like 20x or 25x. Like it's a weird. Richard was the one that started doing this like down by x's. I think it's confusing. Like people get confused by x when you talk in x's on the way up. I think talking about x's on the way down is very, very confusing, right? But if you were to use that kind of structure, this is actually only down 10x, like from 1,000 sats down to 100. It's a tenth of the price in Satoshis. So it's even less. So that would be a 90% drop. Whereas, in dollar terms, HEX has gone another 2x down from there to 96% or 97% down in dollar terms. And so I think it's always good to have that context, because we are competing mainly against other cryptos, because the rest of the system's a total fraud. So you really only really care about your performance against other cryptocurrencies, because that's where you want to be. Sorry, Jexo, you go.
I don't know if I can share. I'll try again, but it looks like I freeze up when I try and share. So I'll just everyone let's go at it.
Do you want me to pull the chart up? What chart was it?
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Oh, yeah. So your video is frozen, but I can hear your voice. And this was actually happening to me last week.
It's been going on.
When I would try and share my screen, this exact thing would happen to me, where it would it freeze me up. But this week I seem to be able to do it okay.
So day 43, can that chart be brought up or not going to work?
Oh, nice.
I can't even see it.
I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
So, I can't see it. So can you see me?
Yes. Yep. It's Bitcoin against dollar.
Yep, on a 3-day chart, and we're looking at so this is a 21 moving average and a 50, and here we go. So I can see that now, and we were looking for this cross, which could indicate a pretty big move up.
Hell yeah.
So what happened last time when we seen that cross was this move here. We might have preempted it a little bit because we have done a bit of a move, but that sort of set a trajectory for a big leg up. So who knows? But that's not a bad thing to see on the charts. And if we get that, I think it will probably make a few people pretty exuberant because that's a pretty substantial cross. So you might see at least the traders and the like would be reading a little bit into that.
Can you go back to the first time that it occurred, the other cross? Because I know there's mixed feelings in the community about Tone Vase, and by mixed feelings I mean 99% of hexagons don't like him. Yeah. Tone Vase has a rule that might be relevant here, that moving average crossovers are more powerful in their effect when the price is close to the cross.
Yep.
So see here on this first one, the cross occurred and the price was actually almost coincident with the cross, and it just boosted out of there. Whereas this time, like you said, we're actually quite far away from the cross. So it's possible if the price maybe pulls back a little bit or a lot before the cross, that could give it more power, or like you said, it should still be significant. It doesn't mean you just completely ignore it, but his opinion is in terms of how much impact it's going to have.
Yeah. So
like, he likes to see the ones where the price actually pulls back into the cross, or if you're on the short side, pulls back up into the cross,
and then sort of like that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. See how the price actually tried to go up, and then actually got rejected by the cross. So it's like super strong resistance.
Yeah. So we may have front run that a little bit, but I think that's a valid point, Tangent, and it's true. Definitely true.
Yeah, and see how last time the move actually was from there to the blue MA.
Yeah,
and we're already at the blue MA.
Yep.
But look, don't let that sound like I'm being bearish, because
I think that's
bullish. I'm so bullish.
But I think that cross would still be good, but you could still come back down off it. Like you get that cross, but the price still needs to retreat, because let's face it, we've had a pretty stellar run up, and it's probably due for a little bit of a pullback.
I've been looking at the weekly chart for Bitcoin and just getting so bullish. We had the first weekly close ever last week, where both open and close occurred over the some significant moving average. It might be the 200 week or probably not, but there was some significant weekly moving average that people use, and so we obviously crossed over it in the week prior, and then the week before the last week, and then last week was the first time we've had open and close over. And then there's just all these other bullish indicators. The daily looks strong, the weekly looks strong. We keep creating these flags, and we're just basically just been flagging up the whole way up. Everything's just looking super strong. Most people who are reasonable technical analysts believe that there's no reason why Bitcoin price should stop going up until 25K minimum. So somewhere between 25 and 30K tends to be the consensus of, and I'm saying this is a small minority of people who actually know what the fuck they're talking about. If you look broadly at the masses, everyone is calling bull trap. Everyone is saying the price needs to go back down. So this is still a counter sentiment assessment, but it's from people who actually know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, that is only 8% away. That's not.
It's like for crypto, that's like you can do that in an hour. Like it's just
unreasonable.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, your mic's gone weird again. It was so good up until now.
Hey, Tangent. Do you remember, or do you ever use the Bitcoin Maya multiple chart?
Yeah, I do actually. I do. I look at it. I remember Trace Mayer made a comment once, even though the indicator's named after him, but he didn't create it. And he made a comment once where he was like, anytime the Mayer multiple for Bitcoin is under something like 0.6, it's effectively free. Like buying Bitcoin is free money. It's like basically free money. And we went quite low recently, didn't we? It's so this chart that you're looking at here,
That's it.
See how I used to draw a line that linked up all the lows, but we've actually broken that trend line now. So see how if you can kind of draw a line that goes through all the lows that's rising, and the highs were actually coming down as well. And that obviously is what you expect to see as the asset matures and you get less volatility over the long term. So you would expect this chart to be pinching in and basically having higher lows and lower highs. And then on this most recent crash, we actually broke that trend and went to a lower Mayer multiple than what that trend line would suggest. And this is just another example where models get broken. You just expect that a model works until it doesn't.
So yeah, you can see it was forming a big triangle coming from the top and the bottom. Which, by its very nature, means at some point the model has to break. Like if it's going to come down to an apex, it has to break.
Like unless the volatility, like some people believe that, like, you know, the Richard Hart, it's at the end of its adoption S curve,
and you reckon
then you could end up having where it basically.
I don't think that's what he said though. Just to in the interest of you know,
he absolutely said that.
I think he said it's at the top of its price appreciation S curve.
I'm pretty sure he said it's at the end of its adoption S curve, and then that's why its price appreciation is so poor. Like, I don't think price appreciation has an S curve, by the way. Like, as in that doesn't exist.
Okay,
adoption S curves. Price doesn't have an S curve.
I believe it does, and maybe this is the inverse. But let's take a phone. So mobile phone, when they first come out, low adoption. Really
bro, your mic is so bad that we can only can't hear even before you could actually understand what you're saying, even though it was crackly. But now we can't even hear every second word.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a read.
Something about a mobile phone.
Hey, Jexa, jump onto Amazon, spend $150, and bro, you've been streaming for 2 years, dude.
I got a $400 mic in front of me, dude.
It's a $400 mic, is it? Okay.
I've got a gold mic in front of me.
I think it's my network. I might just have to do a quick restart. Something's a bit funky. I'll be back.
Maybe resetting the computer might just flash the what's it called, like reset all your audio drivers and whatever, and the internet and everything.
My machine done an update last night, so it's probably something's going to be funky. But I'll do a reboot. I'll be back. See you soon.
It says we should stream at 30 FPS instead of 60. I thought we did stream at 30. Are we? Oh, we're streaming at 60. Shit.
Is it too late to change it?
It might be. Yeah, it's too late.
Well,
oh, shit. My resolution is... Okay. I fucked up. My resolution is at 30 FPS, but the stream's resolution is at 60. For no, for no good reason.
I'll check mine. I'm also 30.
Yep. Oh, well, that static image in the background.
Be looking tight. Be looking sweet, bro. Even though I could barely even work out what it is. Is it a bald dude with a joint or something? I was close.
Yep, it's a cigarette. Dude, I just got the worst friggin' cramp. Oh my God. Hang on.
Take magnesium, bro. Okay, so while I've got the stream solo, I've asked for people to comment with genuinely outrageous marketing ideas for RH, and that I would only one. I said I would give a shout out on stream to the best answer, but we've literally only had one. So they win by default, even though it's actually a really good idea. So I do not want to discount how amazing this idea is by the fact that it was a winner by default, which sounds like a participation trophy or some shit. By the 1964 Tour de France winning Ferrari 250 GTO. I have a model of this car, by the way, quite an amazing Ferrari. It kind of looks like a Jaguar. And wrap it with the HEX design. Yeah, that would be actually... Oh, I'm probably going to cop some backlash for saying this, but I think it would actually be disrespectful to this vehicle to wrap it with the HEX design, like, because it's already in its race trim with like the right, like, I think you would probably be risking like death threats from Ferrari enthusiasts if you did that, which actually, I guess that adds to the oh my God, of course, it's supposed to be outrageous. It's supposed to get people like really, really upset. Of course, that adds to the outrage. So yes, that's actually brilliant. That is actually brilliant. People would be absolutely furious. So since I'm here solo, but I can't share my screen, what can I do that does not require a chart that we can chat about? By the way, someone just punch into chat, please, if you can still see and hear me. Yeah, actually, I can tell by the chat that you guys can. Green Candles, best Mudhog, my boy, my man right here, my man Mudhog has got that shit. There is nothing I agree with more than price up equals price up, yo. We need the price of HEX to go up for the price to go up. Really, seriously. Green Candles is the best marketing. I'm surprised at how I have been pounding the table on this. I have been beating the drum on this. I have been, what's the other sayings that we've got for? I have been stating for a really long time. Richard Hart himself talks about this price reflexivity. And I agree that there's no better marketing than Green Candles, for real. Look at all the coins that I'm not going to say the names of that have been going up lately. They are getting all the attention. They are getting all the investors. They're getting all the videos being made about them. HEX could have been that coin if we had pumped at any time in the last like 12 months, and we would have been literally the only coin pumping. Now, obviously, if we pump, we're not going to be the only coin pumping, but there's enough attention to go around, right? People are desperate for hope and pumps. Like, that's not over. So I agree with Mudhog 1,000,000%. But Green Candles are not outrageous. I mean, unless they're like really big, then they become outrageous. But just Green Candles in themselves, that's not an outrage marketing. Like, that's not technically outrage marketing, but I do think it's the best marketing. Welcome back, Jexa.
Is that better?
Yes. So far, so good.
All right, we'll see how we go. So my point that I was making, and when this may be sort of the inverse of what we're referring to, but there's a bit of an analogy there. So adoption, and I was using the mobile phones as an example. So you start off with low adoption, but to buy a device is quite expensive. And over time, you get greater adoption, but the cost of access to the network is cheaper.
Yep.
So the parallels are only go so far. What I'm trying to, I guess,
good point,
explore here is can you have adoption without a change in price? So the weight of it gets so big that you continue to get adoption, but it's just not growing at that rate of knots because of but are you saying
we get the inverse here. As tech normally gets adopted,
gets cheaper.
You get economies of scale and everything gets cheaper. Your mobile phone plans, the mobiles themselves, all that shit. Whereas with crypto, the more adoption you get, the more the price goes up. So it's the inverse. It's like it becomes more expensive to get involved. But however, for users who are still thinking in dollar terms, who just need so say it's like those lightning apps that just like that. So it's you become a Bitcoin user even though you're not actually investing in you just need the underlying asset.
So
it doesn't matter whether you're getting like 100 Satoshis or 1 million Satoshis, it's just a transaction. Then you do start to get network adoption without people necessarily having to invest in the native asset itself. So
does it get to a stage where people are buying it and holding it? And this refers to HEX and all others as well. So the utilization of it is getting larger, but it's more transactional. So the volume moved across the network is greater, more people using it, bigger adoption.
Yes. More addresses, more velocity of the money.
That's right. So more velocity, but it's less hoarded because it's reached such a peak. So the price has gone up and it's leveled out, and now there's enough liquidity in the value of that network where it can just be a means of transfer and like a liquidity type situation, possibly. So does it reach what point?
These are good points, man.
I don't know at what point it does that. So it might take a long time to. Which way does it go? Take a long time to taper off. But that could be what that S-curve is. So you've got as the adoption grows, and then we get a lot more liquidity, and it levels right out. So you could get a lot more people without massive growth in terms of price. Depends how it gets utilized, I guess. If everyone wants to hold it, and I think actually here's something worth a discussion. We're not super early to crypto at this point in time, but we're probably early enough where we're before the majority of people now. How many more crazy bull runs do you think the world of crypto has in it? Do we get one more crazy bull run, or maybe two more?
At least one. I would say at least one. At least that, and that might just be hopium/copium. That's hopium.
Yeah. No, I think the adoption
but also, bro, look
at least one, please.
But by the way, you can already see just by the price action that has occurred in the first few weeks of this year.
Yeah, there's more.
That if the prices are going up like that in crypto without it being a full bull mode, we're going to get at least one. Like, we're heading into something that's going to be fire. Like,
at some point, it'll be like tech companies in general now. So you had the .com boom and everything exploded, and then like the sector continues to massively grow year on year, but it's not doing like, I don't know, 1,000%, 10,000% sort of moves, 100% maybe, 200%, something like that. So the whole sector's continuing to grow. So I'm not saying it's going to not have that growth, but it's going to be dispersed over not just 22,000 projects or whatever there are now, but 100,000, 200,000. So you've got a lot more value in the, if you say total market cap floating around.
Becomes more difficult becomes more difficult to happen to be in the ones that make good gains as well.
Yeah, that's right.
It's becoming statistically less likely. It's more and more like it's heading towards lotto. Yeah. Once you've got so many coins, but although I guess you can argue,
would there be some sort of Pareto effect going on when you've got so many coins, like 80% of the value, 80% of the value is going to be 20% of the coins?
I'm just going to counter myself though and say it's not really heading towards lottery shit, because in lotto, all the numbers are equal, right? Like, as in every number has an equal chance of coming up. Whereas choosing the right crypto project, you can have solid investment thesis as to what projects are actually going to do well, that would give you an edge beyond just looking statistically at how many coins there are. So even though if you're good at ruling out like 90% of the shit, then you're not getting diluted as much as someone who's literally just darts at the dartboard.
So the only difference between that and the current tech space now is it's more open to retail as opposed to VC. It's the exact same process at the moment where there's a sea of tech companies, and to try and pick that one unicorn out of all of those is very, very hard to do. In fact, in a lot of cases, it's only borne about by VCs getting behind it and then bringing them in through their network and letting them grow that way. This is obviously the space where we can come in ahead of the VCs in some instances, although that's getting harder and harder. They're getting their fair share of the pie before a lot of retail does anyway now. But that is still, I guess, our one advantage here is a lot of these things are launched grassroots and don't have VCs come in at the very beginning, and they're the ones that we can front run or play in early. But it's going to end up in the same scenario. It's just the tech world, but it'll be in the blockchain space. So I think
guys,
yeah,
a user named Free Speech put into ChatGPT, come up with an idea for outrage marketing, and this shit is actually genius.
Okay,
this shit is actually genius. A fake protest against Richard Hart. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you could fire up the wokes to do a protest so that it becomes like, you know how much whatever the wokes start attacking, it becomes like it goes into the news cycle and just does not fuck off. Can you imagine if Richard Hart became the target of the wokes, and then all you need is a tiny percentage of the people who hear about it from that to actually look into it and be like, I'm going to, like, the whole no such thing as bad publicity, but also some people will look into it and go, oh, HEX is actually legit. Can you imagine? That would be absolute
I reckon I know how you could do it.
He's dropped the N-bomb. Like, as in he's done plenty of shit that is like that the wokes could latch onto and try to cancel him, like heaps of shit.
I reckon all you've got to do is find an English soccer team and sponsor them.
The Beta Boys, the Barnsley Boys. But we need it to go like full viral, where he becomes the enemy of the wokes. That would be brilliant.
You want to tread that line very, very carefully, I reckon. But yeah, I think if you could come up with something that's polarizing, but
wait, you know how they have, like, at protests, you see dudes with earpieces and shit like that, and it's like the 3-letter agencies have actually got their dudes there that are actually like
rallying them up,
like hyping it up, and they're dropping off like pallets of bricks, like all the hexagons. Like I would be there. I would be there, like all masked up and shit, like get it firing everyone up, like yeah, this is bullshit. Let's kick in some windows. Like,
all right, what have we got? We've got some more. Free Speech has got some more comments.
Wait,
what have we got?
By the way, I reckon there'd be some hexagons there for real. Like, there would be there's some people in the hex community that actually have become quite anti-Richard Hart that would be at the protest. Like, oh shit. That could be our plausible deniability. When someone like rips off my mask and hat and they're like, "You're Tangent, you're a hex streamer," I'd be like, yeah, I'm one of the hexagons that like flipped and like bitched it and like sold the bottom and is like a Richard Hart hater now." Like, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, true. That's been happening a lot. We will buy that."
So that's actually pretty cool that you can use that tool for some ideas, isn't it?
Hell yeah.
What have we got there? This could generate For example, they could create a provocative campaign or statement that challenges the status quo. That speaks in asking for something specific. Free speech. Say, stop giving me general comments. Give me a targeted campaign. Something out.
Ask the GPT like whether we should make it racial or like whether we want to make it its own thing. Oh, yeah, we could do all of the above. We could just conglomerate every woke topic into one big. I've got it. You know how they're blaming everything on climate change and shit? They're like, oh, climate change is causing heart attacks. Let's make it so that Richard Hart is to blame for everything that has happened. Every problem that you have in your life, Richard Hart is to blame. We make the world believe that. Actually, no, this could backfire. No. And the solution is, and the solution is that if you buy HEX, if you need to, we'll Coney 2012 that shit. We'll make it, you know how like with Coney 2012, they're like, oh, there's a warlord, he's a really bad person. Now all you have to do is buy like Coney merch, buy like we need to make this guy a household brand so that everyone knows how bad he is. So we combine the Coney 2012 campaign with the wokes, with the current wokes. This is fire. We make Richard Hart a household name because of how bad he is. We need to raise awareness.
Where is this protest going to take place? Should we? I mean, is it? Sydney, Melbourne, like where?
Global, online. Zoom protest. I want to see a lot of blue hair. I want to see a lot of screeching. I want to see.
Dude, I reckon France is the place. Whenever I see protests in France, those motherfuckers riot, man.
Fuck yeah, we yellow vest that shit. I want to see flipped cars. Hell yes, everything. Bro, Paris.
Dude, the French know how to riot, man. They know how to riot like no other nation.
Plenty of art galleries in France that we can throw soup on. This is perfect. Great. Straight in. Man, AI really is changing the landscape. It really is.
Hey, a second ago, I got the worst cramp I've ever had in my life.
Did you take magnesium?
I just ate some pistachio nuts. That's all I had. I didn't have any walnuts.
That might be something to do with sitting on economy with the kid on your lap for 20 hours.
Dehydration in the plane and like,
Yeah.
Shit, yeah. Hydrate, mofo.
I actually did do a fair bit of garden work today. I sweated up a storm, so it's probably got something to do with that.
In other news, did you hear about a popular blockchain that paused?
ADA?
Yeah. Yes. And I was just about to mention that. Read my mind. This is what Richard is avoiding by making sure that everything is legit before PulseChain launches. Is to and by the way, ADA's value prop was we're doing the academic shit so that the shit is solid as fuck when we launch, and it still has problems. They kept their users waiting for years without a chain.
That is so true.
Because they wanted it to be like all academically sound, formal mathematical proofs, and it's still garbage.
Has ETH ever had an outage like that, other than like
not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of.
Never had a
no. And also, by the way, rollback I think technically doesn't count as like the chain fucking up and pausing.
Yeah, because ETH Classic kept going.
You're doing it by choice. You could have left it running.
No, but ETH Classic kept going, so it didn't fuck up.
Yeah, good point. Yes, sorry. It's just a fork. Like that's just a fork. So
and I'm assuming I don't think Bitcoin has ever had a chain halt either.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know for sure.
Like it's like 99.9% uptime or some shit. I think that technically there was some
like if that's true of both of
for a
those,
very,
and I
very
don't
short
care,
period of time.
regardless of your thoughts and whether you're a maxi or not, that's pretty
Very
damn impressive.
Very impressive.
for Bitcoin to be running what 13, nearly 14 years or whatever it is, and ETH,
particularly with Ethereum,
7 or 8 years now. Yeah,
particularly with Ethereum, where it's like more complexity
going on.
Yeah, that's very, very impressive. Yeah. I think a lot of people are starting to take that shit for granted. Like, people need to remember everything in crypto is beta. Everything's a testnet. Everything's a testnet. The whole thing's that every coin is a testnet. Like, and so, but people are starting to treat Ethereum like it is solid as fuck. Same with Bitcoin.
Richard Hart, just on this point, Richard Hart tweeted something about PulseChain during the week, something about the validators. And from what I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, it was 10-second block times.
I saw someone quote that. I saw someone say that it's 10-second block times.
The image that he posted showed like the in the validator dashboard showed 10-second block times.
That's true.
So I have to flex. I have to flex
quicker
here.
than Ethereum. It's going to be quicker than Ethereum. That's going to be the.
And that was with about 200 validators, I think, running. Let's see. I think there was 8,100 odd.
I'm definitely going to run a validator. I've decided.
Yeah, that was about 250 validators running.
I'm not going to try and be in the top 33 or any shit like that, but I'm definitely running a validator.
I think we should encourage everyone to.
Yeah, I think all hexagons should try. I think they're going to try and make it easy. Have you
been following Alex's posts?
No, not really.
Alex from Hedron. Okay. And I've been meaning to get back to him. So this is probably something that you might be able to help me with here, 43. So I'd never heard of this bit of kit. It's a funny name. It's got an M2 chip in it. So it must be something similar to what an Apple chip is or something like that. It's like a little small computer. It started with an O or something like that. And so he was thinking about doing a custom OS and building all the preloading them with all the validating software and then shipping them out.
Yep.
And then also doing a another version where
he doesn't have to do all of that, man. I mean, he could do it, but he doesn't have to do it. It's already been done.
That's exactly where I was. Yeah. So this is where I was leading to. Maybe he's probably not aware of that device you've got. So I think we can.
The device I've got is just a general purpose computer.
Yeah, just a NUC.
It's just that's it. It just but you can run it on any computer really, as long as it's got the specs. But it's just the OS is DAppNode OS, and you could develop. You could develop for that.
That's what I think is the best approach. And I couldn't remember the thing you had, but that's rather than him putting his energy, unless he just wants to do it as a business venture, then have at it. But his time might be better spent getting the code right that can be forked into DAppNode's Git, and then.
But they're already doing that. But it's already there
for PulseChain.
Yeah, because they're doing. There's going to be Aragon.
Okay.
And there's going to be what was the other one? Was it Prism? I think it was Prism.
Yeah, but you would have to have some configuration information there that needs to be done, and I think my understanding is that the community can submit pull requests. So Alex might be able to do all the coding and everything, and getting all the scripting and everything. Pull request.
I've got it. Sorry, there's you've got your execution clients, which are Go Pulse and Aragon, or Pulse Aragon. They're the two execution clients. So they're going to have two. So you're going to have an option. and then they're going to have 2 consensus clients, and those 2 are going to be Prism and Lighthouse. So that those 2, like if you like run an Ethereum node, those options are available. If you run a Gnosis chain node, those options are available. And the dApp node gives you the platform. Anyone can develop for the dApp node. It's like, it's just an operating system. Anyone can just. So I think all the hard work is being done by the developers, and it's just a matter of, I guess, putting together some scripts so that it loads onto the dApp node, and
So-
that is a GUI. It's an operating system that's specifically made for people who aren't coders, so that you can still do this sort of shit and validate. So I think most of the hard work's done. It's just there's going to be a few things just to. And the fact that there's other like EVM compatible chains already doing exactly the same thing should make like there's something to look at. Like the GitHubs are all there. You can just go look at what they've done and then just implement the same shit or similar shit, I would have thought.
So I'm not sure if he's aware that this thing even exists, and look, he may just want to continue down his own path and have it so it's more, I guess, if you're going down that vertically integrated path, and then you've got something that is more specific for PulseChain, then maybe that's the path he's sort of considering, or maybe he doesn't know about this. But I think, like you say, that already exists, all the hard, heavy lifting's done. Might be an easier route where he can then focus his energies on bigger and better things.
So Par Excellence is just saying Ethereum is too reliant on Geth and needs more people to use other execution clients like Aragon for client diversity. Yes. Yep. So
but
I think
we could go the opposite way as well. And if everyone's using Aragon, then do we end up in the same position? Do you need a good mix of clients so that because I think there was one stage on ETH where a particular client had a glitch, but all the other clients continue to operate. So you probably want that little bit of diversity there.
Yep.
So in saying that, maybe it's good that he continues doing his own thing. But if someone that knows a little bit more about this shit can put it together for the dApp node, that would be pretty handy.
Just in relation to this, look, I'm no expert, but I know that one of the main things that you need is a high capacity drive, high speed, high capacity drive. And those things are not cheap. Like on my device, it was the majority of the cost was just the drive.
Yours was massive though.
Mine's just a 4 terabyte.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
NVMe. And it wasn't, that was the majority of the cost, just that.
Yeah.
And then you probably want to have at least 64 gig of RAM, because the what's nice about this device, once it syncs, it's not that high. You can do other shit on it as well. Like you don't just need to do. And maybe with Pulse, because it's going to be like quite big, it's going to get quite big quite quickly, I would have thought. Or actually, you know what? Now that it's not 3-second blocks, it's not going to get as big as quickly as it was originally. So I take that back. It may not grow.
I think you can get away with 1 terabyte currently, but you'd probably want a minimum of 2.
For Ethereum.
Yeah. So that Odroid box that Alex was looking at, I had a quick look, and I think it was less than $100 for the actual little hardware unit. But then, like you say, you need your NVMe drive, which was going to run you about $200 or $300. RAM, that's probably another $200. But once you've got that, then you're pretty much good to go. So I reckon you could do it for sub $500 for a good node.
I guess so. I'm sort of the opinion, if you're going to do it, just do it. Like,
oh yeah, load it up.
Just you want something that's going to last like at least a couple of years, right? You don't want to just like get a terabyte drive and then you have to migrate shit in like a year's time. Like you want something that that will just run.
Yeah. So I think it would you could do a kick-ass one for sub 1,000, I think, based on what I've seen Alex was trying to use.
Yep. Dude, he would know. Like that's his area. He would know that. He would know about what's good and what's not. Yeah, and look, it's an idea. If he did the DApp node, I still think the DApp node thing should be done because it's a really easy option for a lot of people. But like if you buy the box from them, that's a pretty expensive path to go down. Because their boxes are not cheap, but you're not like paying through the nose or anything. It's just like the hardware is expensive.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. It's like, I think it's at least $1,500, if not more.
So you reckon you probably paid a 20% premium just to have them?
There's other shit. They have other offers as well that they do. Like they give you, I've seen other stuff come out recently where they give you like tokens for other validating things, and you can validate other chains and things like that, which is not necessarily what we want to do, but it's something I feel like it would be a good option for hexagons or pulsicans, I should say, where they could just, if they wanted something that's a bit more resilient, like longevity wise. But there's things that we still need to know. Is it like what's the slashing going to be like? We don't know this stuff. I want to know. Before I commit to putting down 32 million. Not that I have 32 million pulse. Not that anyone has 32 million pulse for that matter.
Wait, is 32 million pulse even really that much? I don't think it is.
No, it's not. But what he's saying is you don't have it at the moment.
It's timed up to it's a million times the supply. So that's it's only the
equivalent of 32 ETH.
32 ETH.
Not price wise, but
not price and not price wise as well. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's just the 32 that matters.
Yeah,
I guess.
When you said you don't have it, you mean you don't have it yet. Like, but also like in terms of like you're neither confirming nor denying whether you have that much.
I might have to buy it, dude. I might have to buy it. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Actually, that's an important comment. I've had a lot of people that have been DMing me and disclosing information to me that I would typically advise people to not tell anyone. And it's really nice that these people trust me. Like people perceive that I'm trustworthy with that information, and I believe I am, but you shouldn't assume that. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that regardless of how someone has conducted themselves, presented themselves, how trustworthy they appear, you attempt to not disclose specifics. Like often questions can be asked without disclosing your exact financial situation. You can at least vague it up a bit. You can at least sort of like speak in generalities to still be able to give the idea. Because in some of these cases, they're saying, hey, this is my situation. Can I ask you a question about X, Y, and Z? And I always say the same thing. I say, look, I typically recommend that you don't disclose this kind of detail to literally anyone. Like it's not even like family, close friends, anyone. And I thought I would just make that statement publicly because I've noticed it's been on the increase. I think particularly in the bear market where people are getting stressed about different things or You know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah.
Yep.
Just general advice.
Did you see my message? Did you see my message in the chat?
Which chat? Which chat? Oh,
you don't have to say it.
Oh,
you don't say anything. Just
I'll reply in the chat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can talk about it. We can talk about it generally. Like we can speak generally about the rise in people who are starting to predict that PulseChain is imminent, and I
predict it's imminent as well.
I mean, it does. Like, there's been a lot of criticism of people who have said that it's imminent, saying that they're not bringing enough like evidence, but there have been like little things that have been pointed to, right? Like that
Dude, that validator flashboard
that you have to count as evidence, right? Like you have to say, including Richard tweeting about it, the fact that he's silent at the moment, which would indicate maybe he's like working hard on something. The updates to like Git repositories, you've got other things that they are real, like they're not fake. Like those are things that you can really point to. I actually find the threads where anyone says like, "Oh, a dev told me this," and it literally just gets flooded with comments that are like jokes that are like, "Oh yeah, like a dev, my friend who's a dev just contacted me, reminded me that my car insurance is about to expire." I think that was like a HEX 01, and like it just gets like more and more ridiculous. That I like the sentiment of those jokes where it's kind of like, oh yeah, like anyone can make this claim.
We have a highly memeable disposition in the Hexagon and PulseChain community. Like everyone is just ready to meme, which is what the bear market is for, by the way. Like if you didn't know, this is where you should be creating the best memes.
The right to bear memes.
What I was saying before is like, that dashboard that Richard Hart posted, that is like, that means shit's close, man. I mean, I know that sounds like some bullshit, but and who knows what other problems or whatever they have to, or hoops they have to jump through, that they don't know about yet. But just to see that's like a working system dashboard.
Okay, so if you want a little bit of counter to that, it also only had 32 token count stakes. So there's obviously a bit of work that needs to be done on the staking side of things, and if you're going to be upping up to 32 mil, there's work that needs to be done there. So you can
come
take
on,
it
Jackson,
two ways.
Add 6 zeros, mate. Come on.
Yep.
How hard can it be?
Just saying.
I know.
Oi. Kryptonite just tweeted this out. Literally, I don't know whether this was related to us just talking about it or not. I know it's from 6 hours ago, so definitely not. I just hit a kangaroo on the way to work. I checked its pouch for a joey, but there wasn't one. There was, however, a handwritten note. It said, "Testnet 3V, Testnet V3 is close. Love, Dev." Like the kangaroo was being like a fucking carrier pigeon for a secret note about Testnet V3. I thought I'd read it out because it's like the fact that it had the kangaroo in it makes it like very Australian, and we are the Australian like HEX show sort of thing. Fucking hell. But look. One day people are going to keep predicting that it's coming out, and people are going to keep saying, "Oh, I've been hearing the same shit for years. I've been hearing the same shit for years." There's a clip of Richard Hart from over a year ago where he's like, "It's so close. It's so close." And it's the clip is like literally over a year ago. And so people are going to disbelieve it and then one day it's actually going to come out. So
that's what happened with the merge. The merge went
exactly.
on for bloody 3 or 4 years or something.
True.
And it was like, oh, it's never going to happen. It was the big joke. It's going to take forever. And then bang, all of a sudden there was a date.
Yes. I fell into that trap. I was like, this is never going to happen. They're going to keep pushing it back. I was like, this date that they've given is nonsense. There was a Bitcoiner who promised to, it was the guy, like one of the ones that has debated Richard Hart and did a really shit job. Like he just ended up simping for Richard, being like, oh, why don't I just ask questions and like throw you softball fucking questions and turn this into a fucking puff piece. Like he didn't, like, he was like, well, I don't really know that much about HEX. How about I just ask you questions? And then, of course, Richard's armed to answer those questions, like with his narrative. So it's like useless. That guy said he would eat shoe leather. You know the saying, I'll eat my shoe or I'll eat my boots if this happens or if this doesn't happen, whatever. He had to eat shoe leather because the merge actually did occur.
And he did actually do it?
Yeah, he said if it even occurs anywhere within that month that they have given that date, so anywhere within that month, I'll eat shoe leather. I didn't see the stream where he ate the shoe leather, but the other guys that he streams with, it sounded like they were not going to let him get away with it. Like they would force him to eat.
Didn't McAfee say
McAfee never done it, followed through, did he?
He did not follow through. Although I remember at one point he did make a comment that gave away that he was not ever intending to do it. This was before it was clear whether or not the
you needed that comment to know he was never going to do it.
Well, no, but like someone can maintain that shit. Like I'll fucking do it. So in one interview, he was like, maybe I'm gonna outsource the task to a Thai prostitute or something like that. So he was like effectively doing like a play on words, like eat my D.
Didn't he hang out in Mexico sometimes as well? So there was a possibility that just through some sheer random getting in trouble with some gangsters, that shit could have happened anyway.
Yeah, true. I mean, look, I think that when gangs are exercising that type of punishment / incentive, they don't go for like your sexual organs because they want to keep it gangster. So they'll typically do like fingers, toes, that kind of thing. But who knows? Who knows? There might be a new woke gang that wants to keep shit like, inclusive and wants to do all body parts.
I always thought that was like the worst of the worst type gang shit. And I'm not talking like street gangs. I'm talking like
horse in the head bed, horse head in your bed. Horse in your head.
Horse head in your bed.
Horse head
in your bed.
But even horse head.
Wait, that could be our chant for the Richard Hart protest. Horse head in your bed. Horse head in your bed. Like... Fuck yes, this is sick. Let's do it.
Even horse head in your bed is like they didn't hurt a person, so they just hurt something that he loved, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be that. I would be like, that's pretty mild. Like if I had a horse head in my bed, I would be like, that's pretty mild compared to what could have happened. I'd be like, I got out of this one lightly.
I think that was the point of it. It's a stern
it's
warning.
It's like this is what we're capable of, and you better put my godson in the movie. Whatever that was about.
If we've got the tools to cut through a horse's neck, imagine what we could do with a human neck. It was just like light work. So,
I've just been watching. I watched Jack Reacher. Has anyone watched Jack Reacher?
No.
On Amazon Prime. No one's seen that. There was a bit of that going on. You
had a bit of time to fill recently, didn't you?
South American gangster genitals in your mouth type.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, they didn't show it, but like it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was. 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 I'm glad they didn't show it. I don't need to see that. There's some things you don't need to see. So it's yeah, it's just present in my mind, mate. Present in my mind right now. Where do we go from here?
Where do we go? I think I could make a pretty good segue.
Please.
While we're talking about gangs and the underworld and so forth, SBF and his links to what seems to be emerging, and I'm going to cock this up because I was half asleep when I listened to the YouTube video on this one. So was one of the biggest receivers of USDT, of Tether. And there's some nefarious links where there was, I think it was Delta Bank or Deltec Bank, which was down in the Bahamas. They brought a very small unknown bank in the US, and they paid like 3 times what it was actually worth. And that went unnoticed by the regulators.
Mm-hmm.
And then instantly it went from like a bank that held 1 million in deposits or something like that to churning through hundreds of millions and if not billions of dollars. And I think it was primarily to do with USDT. Turns out this bank has got some shadowy connections back to Epstein and through China and all this other network of questionable people and links. And apparently some, I think it was a female reporter had written a whole book about the Epstein thing, and she's on, Courtney, I think is her name. She's on the case of this SBF thing and the links that could possibly be between all that underworld shit that happened and what's been going on with SBF, and goes back to link into Sam's parents and their connections with Epstein and a few other things. Apparently, Sam hired the same lawyers as, is it Giselle? Was that her name?
Yeah, Gillian Maxwell or whatever.
Gillian Maxwell or whatever. Yep.
I was literally just talking about this in a Twitter Spaces, by the way. I just mentioned it. It was like an investigative journalist who was doing research into Epstein's shit, noticed that Sam Bankman-Fried got the same lawyer as Maxwell, and that directed her attention onto that. So,
yeah. So I want to, I'm going to do a little bit more digging on that and follow that thread. But yeah, it sounds like there's some pretty nefarious shit that's been going down, and if this is all part of it, and
we shouldn't be surprised, but it still is like it still is shocking. Like you're just like, fuck.
Oh, speaking of shocking, it is now confirmed that the CIA had something to do with the shooting of John F. Kennedy. It's like it is.
I thought that was known for a long time.
No, it was been
heavily suspected but never confirmed.
They've always denied it. It's confirmed. It's confirmed by someone
that is really bad news. That is really, really bad news.
It just confirms what we all think, though.
Yeah, we all knew it, but like
we didn't want to know it, mate.
Sorry,
but we
heavily
all knew it.
Suspecting it to the point where you're like almost convinced of it, and it actually becoming proven are different. There was someone on a podcast explaining why it's so bad. It's like, if that particular conspiracy theory is ever proven to be true, you end up in a situation where you're like, okay, so we can trust literally nothing about democracy. Like, democracy itself is a lie. Like so this is not just like all the other scams and shit that typically come out are kind of like built on top, like that they can be true without the entire system being a fraud. But that is like, that underpins like the idea that you could just kill a president if they're not doing what you want, that's the whole, like, then now what, like, why democracy, why elections, what, like, it's complete nonsense. The whole thing's a fraud. So that's really bad.
So I agree with you, but I'll go back to let's go back to what Winston Churchill said, that democracy is not perfect, but it's the best system we have. And I don't, and that doesn't mean that all the other shit that goes with the system right now is okay. And that's the best shit we have. All the other shit is not the best shit we have, but democracy is the best shit we have right now. Waiting for someone to come up with some better shit. Hey, is there some better shit?
HEX fixes this. Fix the money, fix the world. I genuinely do believe that.
I
fix
believe
the money, fix the world. So what you're saying is, rather than just throwing up our hands and being like, fuck this, the whole world's a lie, it's like, okay, let's just take this and work and like try our best to improve it. And try to move towards a point where you won't have assassinations of presidents.
Well, they're just people who made all of that shit happen. It's like we talk about this stuff, the deep state, and they're all just people who make it happen. And we're people as well.
I think more what the problem is
corporate
it's not just one or two people. It's something that's evolved over time and is now systemic, and there's a raft of players across the whole globe that are all interwoven, and that's probably why you see all these links, is because it is so interwoven and there's so many different connections. It's that 6 degrees of separation thing. Everyone's connected. It's a very small group of people at the leadership level in countries and things like that. So of course they're going to have connections that cross paths. So some of that will be just part of business, part of running the nations, but there's obviously a lot of underhanded shit that's going on in business deals that are happening because their privilege of being in those positions, and that stuff seems to be systemic. It's not just one or two bad actors coming in. It's just everyone in that system seems to be just the way the system works. So they all play it that way. Out of all of this shit that happened with SBF and all the things that we're finding out now, it was, I think they were using crypto as a big money laundering sort of thing with a view to getting a pretty strong foothold in this space and more or less using it for all their nefarious shit moving forward and taking over crypto, not the DeFi side of things, but coming in from that centralized aspect and more or less having not a monopoly, but a very big controlling interest in the space. Whether you like it or not, this is it's a little bit of a battle that's going on. We've got the whole DeFi space that's evolving, and they haven't managed to get their hooks into that yet. But Jesus Christ, if this is the biggest year I've seen, or that's come to light, of how big the attack has been in terms of people trying to get a stranglehold on the space. That's my thoughts on it at this point until I read a little bit more of what's happened. But that's the biggest players in the financial markets trying to get a pretty damn strong foothold on this space.
If it did fail miserably, though. Failed miserably. I mean, they made off.
At this stage, we think so. Yeah,
it failed from this perspective. It succeeded from one perspective. It succeeded fantastically. Like it succeeded in like rug pulling all that money. Like where the fuck is all that money?
But they were moving a lot of money around for sure.
Right. So that money is gone. All the investors, bad luck. Right. So that was, I guess, if that was their plan, that was a success. But they failed in taking down DeFi because ultimately when it comes to DeFi, you need to shut down coders in the privacy of their home with a laptop and open source software. How do you do that? Like, I don't know that that can be done. I think that is too big a task for any government.
I honestly think that's what that was part of the motive of what's happened, is they were trying to get their hooks into things as best they could. There's obviously things that they can't attack, but had they been able to position themselves, and if FTX was still a thing, and it was controlling a lot of the way money was moving around in the market for sure. And they're also interlinked, so it wasn't just those guys, but there's a lot of powerful people involved in that, moving funds around.
Oh, speaking of moving funds around, did anyone hear about the Binance was it Binance or another exchange having issues with wire transfers, and you now cannot wire less than 100,000 K out of Binance or into. I'm not sure. I didn't actually read the article myself.
I think either direction. It's like just for any kind of bank wire shit.
You sure on that? I've vaguely seen something pop up, but I thought it was more at an exchange level as opposed to a individual level. I could be wrong.
Is when a wire transfer is something that is like between countries. If you're within the country where that exchange resides, or in the same jurisdiction as that exchange, then there will be no need for a wire transfer, no need for SWIFT transaction. So that would only be an issue if you're like using an exchange that's not in your jurisdiction. I would have thought.
And I'm sure there'd be ways around that as well. Yeah, there'd have to be ways so that you could SWIFT funds to True USD and then move True USD through DeFi. Like, seems like a silly thing to implement. But once again, is that just that exchange getting targeted just because of other people's agendas? Don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of shit that comes out of, and it's going to take years probably before we know even close to a fraction of the story of what was all going on with I think there's 130 odd companies in FTX's structure. So
it's clearly all dodgy as fuck.
Oh, it's dodgy as fuck. It was all like, you don't set up something like that unless you're
trying to intentionally obfuscate what's going on. Exactly. Like that's an intentional thing. Yeah. Look, man, I just think that we're like hexagons, pulsicans, we all, I think for the most part, believe in DeFi. We just need to keep that going, and everyone we speak to, we need to tell them about it. I mean, I had a really, really good talk with our driver when we're coming back from the airport, and he actually brought up crypto and how he just didn't. We were talking about it and how he just didn't trust it, and so I like whenever I hear stuff like that, that's like. There's no point shilling a specific crypto at that point. You need to go back to basics and talk about, well, which money do you trust? You know, you trust the one that gets printed, the shit that gets printed ad infinitum. Who decides on the monetary policy of that currency that you believe in? So we had that discussion. And he was, and I don't know if he's going to buy crypto or not, but he definitely heard some points of view that he'd never heard before. That's for sure.
I think we take for granted what we know from being in this space in terms of being in control of your own funds. And I just don't think I speak to a lot of people and they don't even understand what happened in Canada with funds being frozen, and so half of them didn't even know much about the protests. B, they had no idea that people had funds frozen. And
do you know what irks me the most when I have that discussion with people, Jexa, is occasionally the response will be, well, they shouldn't have, like, it's like they will automatically side with the powers that be, rather than that's their money and they should have access to it no matter what.
Yeah,
you know, and
you're exactly right. And that was going to be, so there was my first 2 points, and the third one was they don't understand the importance of why that was so wrong, or what that actually means for you as an individual. So you got 3 layers of I guess beliefs and things you've got to work your way through to be able to have that conversation of, okay, well, this is why crypto is sort of important. Most people it's just not on their radar.
I think it's going to, unfortunately, I think it's going to become evident at some point in time, and it might take, we might need to get like further, like we're already like at the thin edge of the wedge, or maybe a little bit beyond the thin edge of the wedge, but it may take for us to get further down that wedge to the point where people actually are inconvenienced. And then at that point, I think organically, the DeFi stuff will just make more sense to people, because on one side, they're going to be restricted, like completely restricted, even told what they can and can't purchase, or when they can purchase, you know, how they conduct themselves, or at least held to ransom. So what, before I went overseas, my one of my daughters needed to get an immunization, and we received a letter from saying, oh, we're going to cut off, you know, stuff that we give you from the government. Meanwhile, we don't get anything. So I was just like, haha, that's pretty funny. You guys just wasted my taxpayer money to send me a letter that was useless. But that's what they are. And not that we're against vaccinations. My daughters are vaccinated for all the regular shit. Got no problem with that. All the stuff that's been tested for 10 years, I'm happy with that shit. Not particularly happy with giving my, you know, young children shit that's only been around for a year or two. We'll just wait that one out. And
why not, bro? Just experiment on them. Just
that's why you have a few, isn't it?
It's actually almost like child abuse to not experiment on your kids, really, when you think about it.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm waiting for your explanation, dude. Please explain this. Go deeper. Clown world. Yeah. No. So
do you remember as kids playing Opposite World, where everything was opposites? Now these motherfuckers play that shit for real every day, every damn day.
So that essentially, the Australian government sent us a letter because before we went overseas, my daughter was meant to get a vaccination. She was a little bit ill, so she didn't get it, right? She's supposed to get it at a certain age. They send you a letter saying, we're going to cut off your shit if you don't get it. And I'm like, ha, joke's on you. You don't give a shit anyway. So, you know, get fucked.
So effectively coercion, because they're
absolutely coercion, right?
Pure threat of violence.
So if you're a lower income, threat of financial, you don't like what a like an awful thing to be threatened with, like, and bringing your children into it. Like, you know, you're not going to be able to, So
dope.
I wasn't a fan of that tactic. It didn't matter. We were going to get it anyway, but just not when I spoke to the doctor, they were just like, just get it when you come back. It's not a big deal. But yeah, and we're not talking about
they've probably
the
realized
Android.
that
We're not talking about the Android 19 vax, by the way. We're talking about like ones that have been tried and tested, and I'm quite happy for my children to get them. I had them. Many other children have had them. Very few issues. I've read about it. So,
bro, they've probably realized that because of all their shit fuckery, they've actually increased hesitancy across the entire medical industry. So now for any legitimate medications, they're probably noticing that there's like a reduced uptake, and rightfully so, because people are like, well, now I can't just trust anymore. Like, I need to be a lot more careful with what I'm doing. So it's a major fuck up. It's a major fuck up.
But like Day 43 was saying, that's probably a good thing that's come out of this, is now people, it's that awareness thing, and people feel safe and comfortable until they're impacted. So that's probably a net good thing that's come out of this, is now people are at least willing to do a little bit more work to find these things out and to not just blindly go along. So I think that you're not seeing that now, but I think if they get heavy-handed again, I think you'll see a marked different response from a broader group of the community, which I think is a good thing. But I think just taking it back to the crypto side of things, I think if you're in this space, then you've got a duty to try and educate people about what they don't know, and not by shilling, but just like you're saying, 43 is just go back to that general education on what it's all about and the importance of it. If you can at least switch someone on so that they're not just reading headlines and they're actually able to, you know what it's like when nothing's in your world of awareness, then you can see signs and things going on around you and information that pops up that just goes over your head. You totally dismiss it because you're just not aware of anything. But as soon as you can shine a light on something, then the next time they see a bit of information about there's a protest here and funds were locked or something, then it'll be that trigger point again. Or they might see an article about crypto and they'll go, okay, well, he said this about this, and let's have a little read over here. So it's just that awareness thing. And you know what I can't remember. You said the terminology a while back.
It's something about like people need, it's like an advertising rule of thumb. People need to see it 3 times before they'll actually even sort of think about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Some shit like that.
There, it was one of you guys, I thought, that actually had the technical term for it. And it was actually, it summed it up really well. But yeah, I think...
Can't remember.
Yeah. But I guess, we just... And I guess this was one of my big goals for this year, personally, was to just broaden that awareness about what's going on in the industry. We live in this little closed bubble on our streams and on Twitter, and neglect to go out and educate people outside of this bubble. So that's my goal this year, is to do a lot more of that, is educate people that aren't aware of it.
Yeah, it's way more comfortable talking about these topics with people who agree and are like, yeah, hell yeah, than still probably the majority of people who are like, no, I don't want to think for myself.
Did you guys see that interview by Rebel? Was it Rebel News in Davos? I know that you did.
Where he was tagging, where he's following
the Pfizer.
The Pfizer guy. Yeah. Alberto or whatever his name is.
Yep. Yep. That was. Are you
talking about the ambush? That ambush interview?
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. They've been doing such great work. Holy shit. So good.
Yep. That was good. Go check it out. Rebel Media. They did this. They just followed him. They were just with him, asking him questions down the street. He didn't answer any of them.
What? Yeah.
Is that what
Why are
someone
these guys?
from?
Why are these guys walking? Like, shouldn't they jump in a car so this can't happen to them? Because they're managing to get everyone. They got Greta. They got him. They're getting everyone on this.
It
On this
must
walk,
be in an
right?
area where there are no cars.
Yeah,
yeah.
Almost like a, what is it, like gated village sort of thing or some shit.
And somehow they must be like finding out where people are. They must and just finding out when they've got appointments and stuff, and just camping out there.
Yeah, they said they waited over 2 hours in the cold to get Greta. Yo, the Greta one, I absolutely loved watching the Greta one. She's just nervous laughing the entire time. Like, they ask her these questions and she just fucking giggles. They're like, are you like a fucking paid actor? Like, don't you want to actually just speak to the people, like speak to your opposition, speak to the people who are like hesitant to believe? Like, what's your message to the people who disagree with you? You've got this opportunity. Speak, like, send your message. And she just laughs and she's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why anyone listens to me. Like, and just all these, her comments were so dumb. It was like, wow. Like, there's one guy who did a really good job. Prime Minister of Luxembourg, President or Prime Minister. I think it's Prime Minister of Luxembourg. He actually just answered all the questions. I'm like, holy shit. This is like the one and only guy who actually understands how to be like to answer this shit diplomatically. Like, I know probably like 90% of his answers were lies, but he did an amazing job. Like, as in, his shit would fool most people, at least. Whereas these other fuckers, they look guilty as shit. Just like walking in silence, basically
not denying anything. Yeah.
Maybe answering like one question along the way and like doing a terrible job of it. Yeah, they all did a shit job.
There is shit there are like, I guess the issue is that who is owed an explanation?
The other thing I liked about the Luxembourg guy was someone ran up and they're like, is this guy bothering you? And he said, no, it's fine. So like, I'm like, I respect that, where he's like, no, I'm not running. I'm not hiding. I'm not sitting in silence. I'm willing to answer any of these questions that you have. And he had solid answers, like, for all of them, like in terms of the correct, like he should be briefing these other clowns on what to say when they get ambushed by independent media. Like, he should be holding one of his talk at the fucking WEF thing should be how to deal with independent media when they ambush you in the street. He handled that shit like a boss.
Oh yes, new Prime Minister in New Zealand.
I don't even know who it is yet. If male, female,
Ardern is gone.
Yeah, I knew she was resigning. There was some speculation, don't know whether that's going to be true, whether she gets a new position with the WEF somewhere, but we'll see what happens.
Can I say, I'm really, really sad. I'm sad about Australia. I'm really, really sad about New Zealand. I used to think that New Zealand was the shit, like the shit. I've been there numerous times. Love the country, like the people a lot. And like my impression, just my overall general impression of New Zealand has always been like this nice, like little country that's similar to Australia, almost like an extra Australian state. I know that sounds like almost condescending, you know, if you're a New Zealander to hear that, but to me, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it almost feels like you guys are like we're a part of the same thing. You know,
a lot of people around the globe think that it's like it's like Tasmania.
But I don't mean it that way. I just mean that like we're sort of like we're so similar. We're so similar, like in just so many ways that and just to see it now, and just my feelings about New Zealand now after the last couple of years, and just what the Prime Minister, and that is the Prime Minister who's done that. That's the Prime Minister who's done that. My impression of New Zealand is 100% based on what the Prime Minister, how she has conducted herself over the last couple of years. So this new guy, I don't know what he's on about, but he seems like he's doubling down on all sorts of like Android 19 type shit.
I saw a tweet that said we got rid of a leader who was a demon and replaced her with the devil. Like basically saying even worse. Replaced bad with worse.
Yeah, it just depends what happens at the next election. It depends what happens. Like, I'll give you an example. In Victoria,
man,
I thought for sure that Dan Andrews was a goner, right? I thought for sure, but it just goes to show you that
vocal minority.
Yeah.
That was a case of vocal minority. The majority of people who were speaking out publicly were dead against him, and it turned out, unfortunately, that was a case of vocal minority.
That's why I think it's important you understand that the bubble we are in.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
We think there's a big awareness, and we are in the minority in a lot of our thoughts and beliefs on what's happening. Some people don't know. Majority of people, actually, I'd say the majority of people don't even know what's transpired. Then there's probably some that don't care. We're very much in the minority, and that's why I think education about and I'm not talking about all the COVID thing and all that. That's all. That's a whole nother level. But we are in the minority on the way we think about the monetary system and things like that. And we need to start educating people. I think it's the only way things are going to change.
Yeah.
So this comment from tomorrow, from tomorrow, stop paying any tax and never vote.
You sound like you're from the US.
Yeah.
I am kind of on that, like, as in sentiment. I am like,
but you pay tax and you vote.
Shut up. No comment. Of course I pay tax because I don't want to end up in a cage. But like, in sentiment, I agree with that statement from tomorrow.
I agree with the statement as well in sentiment that if you want to stop, look, there's ways to stop paying tax, I guess. Just don't earn any money. You won't pay any tax.
Like, as an example, I agree with fuck the police, but I don't actually go and insert, Yeah. So
you don't bang police.
I don't bang police officers.
Police officers.
Cue that meme of that cop chick that like gangbanged the entire.
Not even. Would you bang the hot chick in that hot police officer in the Red Hot Chili Peppers song from? I actually
have slept with a chick police officer.
Oh, have you?
Not on duty. Yeah, I have. I actually have.
I like how you specified that. Like, she wasn't being paid by the.
Yeah, well, I just mean like it wasn't like, as in I didn't meet her while she was a cop. Yeah. Like I met her socially, and then it just turned out she was a cop, and she was
bring her baton.
Also new to the force as well. So I imagine that when cops are new-ish, they haven't been fully corrupted yet. They've still got that attitude like they're there to help people. So, she seemed like a decent person, like young, like not. Yeah, this is going back a long time.
Yeah.
This is a while
I'll make a comment. I know a lot of people in the force and a lot of federal police as well, and they're good friends with them, awesome people. But there's a hypocrisy. So I know what the shit that they get up to in their private lives, but then you go and police people for things that they do in
themselves. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a weird setup, man. It is a fucking weird setup.
Yeah, I guess where I thought you were going is you can't paint everyone with the same brush. Like I don't want to say that every police officer is a fucker.
Oh no,
there are some that would be.
That's what I'm saying. They're not fuckwits. They're just humans, man. Like they're living a life.
They're just humans. That's it.
Yeah,
But you know that psychological study, the prisoner, prison guard, prisoner study, where it's like you give someone authority and they handle it fucking poorly, like typically, and the people who probably would handle authority well are not the sorts of personalities that actually go into that job. So again, I'm making a generalization here.
No,
same with politicians, same with police.
Yeah. So my comment was you're trying to hold people to some expected standard, which is not the way most humans live their lives. And I don't care whether you're in the clergy and like you take a vow of celibacy or what.
Example.
Yeah. So or you're a cop and what you do off the clock is then what you go police against. Politicians probably tell people to do one thing and do the total fucking opposite. You can't
provably they do that.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Boris Johnson did in the UK when he was getting everyone to wear masks? And then they had like a no mask party right in the middle of.
Yeah, true. You're saying that these roles are destined to fail. Like, as in,
you're trying to hold. Yeah, it's an unreasonable expectation to get a human who has all the foibles of every other human to try and be held to a higher standard.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So we clearly need RoboCop to fix this problem.
Yes, ChatGPT inserted into one of those robot things. Fuck yeah. Actually, fuck no. Like, as in, like cool movie concept. Let's not do that in real life.
By the way, everyone in the chat, if you know what that Red Hot Chili Peppers song is, it's like, I think it's from Blood, Sex, Sugar, Magic, and it's a song where like there's a verse where he like gets pulled over by a female cop, and she he I don't know, I can't remember exactly what happens, but some shit goes down. Some like,
I know the verse. I can't remember the words, but I know the one you're talking about.
Well, I'll be listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers after this stream. That's for sure.
If you know the name of that song, let us know. I remember it was a cracker.
ChatGPT will be able to find that shit for you, bro. Just go on ChatGPT and be like, which Red Hot Chili Peppers song
who was using
has the scene with the...
I
don't have it on this computer, but
Google can do that.
I'm thinking Apache Rose, but I could be wrong.
I think Google can definitely do it, but ChatGPT will just do it better.
I don't think it's Apache Rose, dude. I don't think it's that.
Someone said par excellence. The difference, Sir Psycho Sexy.
Sir Psycho Sexy. That's it. Sir Psycho Sexy.
The difference between ChatGPT and Google, right, is like Google will give you like a page of results, and you have to like scroll through and find the one that's actually correct. Whereas with ChatGPT, it's just going to give you the exact answer and explain it to you, give you a little bit of history. It'll be like, oh yes, that song was fucking blah blah blah, this thing, and the inspiration behind it was this and this. It's like I actually had this idea of AI Wikipedia. So you create a website where it's Wikipedia, but when you search on it, it's an AI bot. So you know how Wikipedia has to be updated by humans? And AI Wikipedia is always up to date because it's always just like obviously you would need an internet connected AI to do this. But it's basically like you no longer need humans to update the Wikipedia, and you no longer need to actually store all the data.
I think
every time you search it, it comes up with the answer.
That's
it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous in terms of if someone has able to censor it, but and you don't know whether you're getting the same results as other people. It's got a lot of flaws in terms of, but if it was run ethically, it would be incredible because it would be a constantly evolving encyclopedia. It's not like Wikipedia where you get outdated information, and it's not like biased by the people who write the shit. It would be actually like it's the collective human understanding of that topic would be summarized for you and ever evolving. I thought it was quite an incredible idea.
I think it's like a chicken and egg thing though, and this is that Oracle problem. So where do you think the AI goes and gets its data from? It probably pulls it from Wikipedia.
Mainly. Oh, well, I mean, so that would be one aspect of it, but it would also look
Yeah.
on. It looked on Twitter until Elon turned that shit off. Elon turned that shit more off than Solana. He just went boop off.
Do you guys remember this? Do you remember this part? That's it. Oh, okay. There we go.
How long can we run that for before we get?
Yeah, we're gonna get pulled.
I do remember that last bit, actually. I do remember that last bit.
Pi Hexcellence is clearly of the same generation that I am.
Yeah.
Wait, that's a good point about the copyright striking. I think you can only go about 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, and it's gone.
It's probably too much. Yeah, that was probably too much. That was actually probably too much.
But we were
Hopefully,
talking.
it's buried. Hopefully, because it's buried within like 2 hours of stream, it's less. Although it's auto, isn't it? They just scan the whole thing.
I think we'll be right.
I mean, look. Copyright strikes don't actually mean the shit necessarily even gets taken down. Typically, it just demonetizes it. I used to get copyright strikes on every stream because I'd play drum and bass for my intro, and I didn't give a shit because I wasn't making money out of the videos anyway. So it'd be like, your shit got demonetized. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like double, like you just took away $0 from me.
It is true that this I'm just reading the chat. It's true. I think this album is the best Chili Peppers album.
Agreed.
Yes.
That was that. They met their peak, wasn't it?
Yep. I mean, a lot of their shit was awesome. Like, but this one for me, because this was when I was a kid, so I was in my youth, so it. All right. Hey guys, do you want? Have you got anything you want to?
Yes, I do actually. I've got things I wanted to say from ages ago that I never actually got a chance to slot in. You guys mentioned Binance, and I thought I'd just mention two very quick pieces of news about Binance. One, CZ alleges that FTX paid $43 million to news organizations to publish Binance FUD. Believable. Let's wait for the evidence. And the other one is Binance admits it kept collateral tokens it issues in the same wallet as customer funds. Bloomberg. Boom. That's fucked. That's part of the. I mean, look, it doesn't necessarily. At least they're not doing the thing where they're spending. That doesn't necessarily mean they're spending customer funds on the wrong shit. However, it does show a lack of like anal control over the where shit is. Like it should be run as a tighter. It just indicates they're not running it as tightly as it should be. So
yeah, it depends because a lot of it comes down to accounting. But you would think you would have trust accounts. So in going back to old world legacy finance, you would think you'd have some sort of trust account or something that was just held user funds.
Fair comment.
So the equivalent would be
I see where you're going. Yeah,
separate wallet. But I guess if their account, but on the books,
as long as your accounting is correct, it doesn't really matter where the shit is. Yeah, fair.
But not. You would ideally not want it to be like that.
Given
how easy it is to generate a wallet.
That's a fair call. That's that whole thing with crypto where it's like, does this one account have multiple owners? Do these multiple owners? Do these multiple accounts belong to one owner? Like it's that there is that thing with crypto that is a thing. So you could say, oh yeah, our fucking whatever that holds those tokens actually just uses the same wallet technically. So you could still be doing all the right shit theoretically. So that's cool. And then the other thing I wanted to do was just out of respect for everyone who submitted ideas, I thought I would quickly run through these ideas that got submitted, the outrage ideas. I won't explain them. I'll just read them out. Oh, by the way, the one that I already read, which was the only submission at the time, I failed to actually shout out who it was from. That was from Igloo Bamboo. That was the GTO for that special race GTO Ferrari. So then the rest of them that have been submitted since is Hex Lioness suggested someone does like naked streaking at a major sports event with like a hex.com temporary tattoo on their back or something. I thought that was cool. That was a pretty cool idea. And also another idea is to park a hex wrapped vehicle outside a major landmark like the White House. But I think they're going to think that shit's a bomb, right? Like if you leave a car parked,
that'll get the attention you want.
Actually, maybe that's the point. I keep missing the point on these outrage things. Yes. Oh, I think that's her point. Yeah, make it seem like it becomes a bomb threat. Yeah, hell yeah. Klaz has got Richard Hart going shopping with his new girlfriend and walking cats on a leash. I mean, that would be outrageous to Richard Hart for him to have a girlfriend, but I think the rest of the world would just see that as normal. So I don't think that's that outrageous, unless you put the girlfriend on the leash, do some BDS shit. That might be outrageous. EFI says buy WWE. Fill up banks. Put billionaire pays entire tuition for class of 2023 strippers. I like that. I'm going to modify this one a little bit because it's worded as that this is a comment on what Richard already did, but I'm going to turn it into something he could do is for Richard to spend all of our sack money on chicken and eggs. Sex tape with Tom Brady's wife comes in. Sorry. That one was by the chicken egg ones was Trap Gravity. M Rock submitted sex tape with Tom Brady's ex-wife. I think any kind of sex scandal would be quite good. Famous threw in buy Iris Energy when it goes tits up, which means bankrupt. I don't know anything about that company. It's on the NASDAQ.
That's Mike, our frauds.
Okay. Oh, it's down 95%.
Can I just throw my opinion on a couple of them? The sex tape with Richard Hart, no thanks.
We don't have to watch it, bro. We don't have to watch it.
Yeah. I would rather it just not exist.
The Iris Energy one would be a bit of an inside joke, right? Like for the rest of the world, they're going to be like, who cares that he bought this company? Because it's only we're the hate, like we're the ones who hate on that guy. There's one here by Rock Alpha that says, let Richard Hart do an interview with Joe Rogan. I mean, I think Joe Rogan's the one that has to let him do that. We're certainly not stopping him.
That would actually be a fantastic marketing thing for marketing, but it's not really outrageous, I wouldn't say.
Good point. Yeah. It's great marketing, not outrageous. So for most of you will know that Kanye West changed his artist name to just Ye, and Sven120 has said get Ye to make a song called The Highest of Stakes. So effectively, Ye doing a Hex song. We could make this idea more outrageous by making him include within that song his opinions about you know what. and that's all of them. That's all of them.
Sorry, what?
Hitler.
Yeah,
his Hitler.
Make
a song. Make the song Hitler versus Hex. Hitler versus Hex, and the whole song is about which one Ye likes more. And the conclusion, I'll let you guys work it out.
Do you know what would be cool if Richard Hart did played Hitler, that would be outrageous.
Wait, spoiler alert! It's
in that music video. In that music video.
Oh yes, the film clip.
Yeah, the film clip. Like they just got like Richard Hart with the mustache and like dark black hair, dressed as.
Oh, bro, it's a story. It's a story of paradox where Ye is like, I don't like you because I've heard that you're a scammer, but you are dressed up as my favorite person from history. So he's torn of whether to like him or not.
Is that his favorite person in history?
What the fuck? Bro, I actually think this actually might win the comp. Even though we've modified the idea a bit. Like, so...
What have I missed? I've missed something in this whole thing. Like, I've missed...
Bro,
go back and watch
You have been away, hey? You have been away. Dude,
even
you need to go and
Lex
look up,
Friedman done an interview, didn't he?
Go and look up the Alex Jones Kanye West interview, bro, and go and watch that after this stream.
Okay,
dude, you will not be disappointed.
He's definitely gone out on a limb.
That fill in some gaps. You reckon?
Yeah. Okay, that's outrageous. So anyway, that's my closing comments for today. Thank you for everyone who submitted all these ideas. That was a thing I put on Twitter, and I really appreciate that shit. That's a lot of cool ideas. Doza put in eat a meat pie with no sauce and eat it with a knife and a fork, and I think only Australians will get that reference.
So who won out of all of them? Because that is the bitch of the week.
I handed the win to the Ferrari idea when it was the only submission at the time. So I don't know if we can then like retract you know what I mean? Like I handed the win out earlier in the stream.
Yep.
But if we were to consider all of them, I think our modified version of the Kanye West video, including Richard dressed up as Hitler in the film clip, I think that clearly wins, bro. Like that fucking clearly wins.
It would definitely get the outrage, that's for sure.
Oh my days.
Schuller's a German. Is it German name?
Yeah.
Yes.
It works.
Yes. He said his name is, and that's part of the reason why he changed it, is because it was like he didn't even really know how to pronounce, or like he was saying that German people were better able to pronounce his last name than he could.
Yeah. Which makes
sense.
He's
even got the correct heritage for us to do the Seinfeld defense. You know how Seinfeld was able to make jokes about a certain race because he himself was that race. Maybe we could even do this and get away with it.
Hang on a second. Why are you not saying Jews?
I don't know, man. I'm so good at these truth diodes. Like, I'm getting so good at these like diodes that now I just speak in riddles. I'm like,
sound like another Hex streamer I know.
That's my message to the Hex community. Actually, no, I did have a big message to the Hex community. I'm seeing a lot of time and effort being spent discussing and arguing about shit that does not fucking matter. And I think so it's fair for some of these things to get discussed for a bit, especially when they first happen. But when I go into a Twitter Spaces and it's like 2 weeks after something has happened and that's still the primary topic of debate, it's like, guys, fucking come on. Like, just move the fuck on. So there are some topics that are just like, and particularly when it's something that Richard himself has said, by talking about this shit, you're giving these haters and these motherfuckers and their projects oxygen. Please stop polluting the community with that shit. And we all know that that's best practice to ghost on haters. For that shit to still be talked about 2 weeks ago, we're letting those motherfuckers win. So that's my message for this week is there's a lot to be bullish about. Let's start getting positive. You want to be the person who has the receipts of you being bullish and positive about HEX before it goes for its run. Because any dumbass can be pro HEX once the shit is going rocket ships, right? Very few people will have the receipts of, look, I was telling everyone to be bullish and pro HEX back here when I was in the minority before the shit went and ran up. Another thing interrelated into this is you can really only take two stances on HEX, right? One is that its price action is, that its price action is delayed, and everything else has gone up, and now eventually HEX is going to go up as well, i.e. we're correlated but delayed, or you think the shit is decorrelated. And both of those are good. Like, I know which one I prefer. Spoiler alert, it's price going up. But it's a win-win, right? Like, if HEX price doesn't go up from here with all the other cryptos that are going up, then we start to regain the decorrelation meme / narrative. And if we do go up, then that's great, price up. So, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm bullish. I'm bullish. I'm fucking bullish. I'm bullish on crypto. I'm bullish on HEX.
I'm generally bullish on crypto in the macro sense, long-term macro sense. I still think we have pain coming our way. I don't see people out there excited, like just the average person excited about crypto. So I think we've got a longer, probably, we might have some short-term joy, but
you've just reminded me of something, and this is not aimed at you because I know this is not specifically what you are saying, but you just reminded me of this. There are many hexagons out there that blow Richard so hard that they still believe in this 11K and pray, and they're like, well, I'm not going to buy HEX until we hit the bottom, and the bottom's not in until Richard's prediction comes true. No one can see the future, and everyone is eventually wrong at some point. So I want you motherfuckers to ask yourself the question, if Richard happens to be wrong about this thing, and that this bottom call that you are relying on, and by the way, you should never rely on anyone else for your shit, because what Richard says is not investment advice. But if you are subscribed to that, where you're like, Richard's always right about everything, so he must be right about this bottom, and so the bottom's not in yet, so I'm not buying any HEX until this bottom occurs. Just ask yourself the question, what if he's wrong? What if Tangent has been right all along, that 11K is not fucking coming? Because even the bearish people that are still bearish, that believe that we've got another dip, they don't think that we're going to go and make a lower low. They think we're going to go back down to maybe like 18K. They think we're going to go back to maybe like 16K. I'm not hearing a lot of people now saying that they believe that we're actually going to go and put in a lower low. So anything's possible. It could happen. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
We could have another black swan. Anything's possible.
I don't know what's going to happen. But if I had to bet on it, I'd say that I don't think we're just going to keep going up from here. I think we're going to have a drawback at some stage before we go to higher highs. I think we're going to be in the teens again at some stage for BTC. I have no idea about HEX. I really don't know what it's going to do, just because it's still such a young market. And the thing about BTC is that, like, all of the real OGs are like mega wealthy. And
also mega convicted. Like, their conviction level is fucking high.
Oh shit! For a second, I thought you were about to say, like,
you
saying they're all in jail,
getting jailed, convicted.
Yeah, all convicted, convicted of. Look, I think that HEX isn't. It's not that far into it. So, all the OGs aren't on yachts. They're all still like very normal, for the most part, like living normal lives. So I think until you get like 2 or 3 like generations of investors like having done really well in the asset, if that happens, until you get that, then I forget what my point was, but I think there's going to be volatility. I think we're going down. I think we're going to go down.
The liquidity on HEX is so low that
it's very low.
It could literally pump 2x at any moment,
and then get dumped down 2x.
I think
immediately as well. That's the thing.
It could go either way, but as in, it would not take many large buyers. And I know people have been running this narrative the entire way down. Oh, it would only take X million dollars to push the price back up or whatever. But the statement's true, even though it never happened. The statement is fucking true. So
Yeah.
I think you're talking about something that is more the long-term health of the cryptocurrency, when we're in like what we're dealing with here is more of a there's short-term impacts that are what my message has always remained the same and is relevant here, that you need to position yourself for regret minimization. And so one of the possibilities that really is a possibility is that the price of HEX could start going up aggressively, particularly if it goes to catch up with the rest of the market. And if you have no exposure or significantly less exposure than what you ideally want, as the price goes up, it becomes harder and harder and harder to choose where you're going to come in, because you're like, I don't want to come in as it's about to go for a big pullback or possibly even go and make a new low.
Yep.
So you
left behind.
You get left behind. You get literally squeezed out. Like you get basically, there's a term for it. It's not squeezed out. It might be squeezed out. You get basically locked out. You effectively get locked out of the trade, and it can happen in both directions, right? So bears that have remained on the sidelines, and this comment goes for all of crypto, they are starting to get increasingly into a difficult position, and they've effectively got more and more locked out of re-entering a long position.
What is the HEX price right now?
And crypto, typically, you don't like not owning enough crypto is being short crypto. I've always believed that if you don't own the amount of crypto you want to own, you're effectively short, right? You're hoping that it goes lower so that you can get the amount that you want at a better price. So you're short. And I just think it would be irresponsible to assume that HEX is going to continue going sideways or down when it could very easily go up. What's this chart?
No, it's the details at the top. You've got the current HEX price 2.47 cents according to this. I've seen
I think that might
someone
be a
in
bit
the
delayed.
chat. Someone in the chat said it's 2.5 cents.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The share rate is 25,614.
I sort of tend to agree with you, Tangent, in your general consensus about short term. Could we get a dip? Yep. Will it be lower than the 15K or whatever we've seen? Probably not. There's always a minority that switch from being bears to bulls earlier than the majority, and I think we're in that transition period where we've seen some upside, but we haven't seen a confirmation of a reversal. And it's not until you see that confirmation of reversal that anyone that's got a bearish mentality or has got funds sitting on the sideline, they're not piling in. But as soon as over time you'll get that swell where you eventually flip around and change that trend, and then you watch shit move when people A, think they're going to get locked out, and B, they see some sort of significant indicator that there's been a trend reversal.
Yeah,
and that's what causes shit to go crazy.
If you want to make the real money, you have to be early.
I disagree.
To make the most money, being early is better than late. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to make the most money,
late might be
comes at more
slightly
risk.
Lower risk. Slightly lower. You get a lower risk but lower return. Yeah.
And so just in that's broad crypto market stuff. In terms of HEX specifically, we've just seen the DO1 wallet, which is associated with the DAA wallet, dump best part of 100 million HEX over the last couple of weeks, which has now taken their wallet down to a liquid balance of about 20 mil last time I looked, 20 mil HEX that is, and a staked amount of about 30 mil HEX out to 2029, I believe. So that was a dumper that has painted most of the chart red at the times we didn't want it to be painted red, and they are now effectively out of dumping ability. Got an absolute stack of cash sitting in stables in their wallet. Who knows? Maybe they still like HEX enough to put some of that back in when they get the confirmation that the market's turned. But at least a lot of that sell pressure, and that was one of the main wallets driving price down in HEX. So that's gone. Why has it taken so long for price to move up now when Bitcoin's been rallying? There's a lot of, when I say a lot, there's a bit of liquidity sitting in Uniswap, which we've got to eat through before we start to see price rises. So we're going through.
Jexer, yep. I have to cut you off, mate. Unfortunately, we have to go because there's another stream starting.
Yeah, that's cool. We've gone for a while tonight, haven't we?
We've gone for almost 3 hours. Guys, thank you very much for everyone in the chat. I'm sorry, Jexer, you were saying.
No, that's right.
No, all good, all good.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks, Tangent. Thank you very much for coming on. Jexer, thank you very much. Appreciate everything you guys do and say every week. And well, that's it. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Peace.
See you, chat. Thanks for joining us.